I will find him. I will find him, Lara.
So good.
I will find him!
Don't try to understand it, just feel it.
The product of my semen, my son!
There's some stories going around about this wayfaring stranger. Those who whisper of his past, how his coming means danger. But maybe there's hope to be found when he silently arrives. For no trouble can outlast the return of Jake's sunrise.
Do you remember your dreams?
I can point out several comics over the last few years which have had improved, even in a few cases, prominent LGBTQ representation. X Factor, for example, where almost every character was queer in some way. I enjoyed it. I'm not queer. It has nothing to do with, you're not like reading it going, oh, they're doing gay stuff, because that's not what a comic book is. It is a superhero action comic, as you rightfully point out. And so what they're doing in the comic is superhero action stuff. And then, you know how, like, if you're reading an X-Men comic back in the day, you'd have every once in a while there'd be like a moment between Scott and Jean, and they'd like, oh, we're going through this stuff. I love you. Now let's go fight Apocalypse. Same thing, except, oh well, except in this case it's two dudes or two women or whatever, and it's like, that's it. Nothing else has changed. Nothing has changed in how these stories, you know, if it's something that's like X-Men, that's known for being X-Men, it's still X-Men, man. And you guys acting like this is somehow, it fundamentally changes the book. It shows you don't read comics, I'm guessing, you know, or you do and you're being dishonest about it. Or that you read a comic and that has a gay couple in the same panel, and you're going to get all like fucking revulsed by that and like, oh, representation is bad. I can't stand it. Get control of yourselves, guys.
Like, I don't get offended by shit.
The people who are constantly whinging about the state of the industry and, oh, comics are dying or whatever, you have to ask them yourselves, why do they dedicate so much fucking time and energy to convincing everyone that comics suck then? Do they want them to do better? Of course they don't. They're not talking about how well or poorly these things are doing, and generally they're not being accurate or truthful, but they don't talk about that because they're trying to save the industry. Just think about it in that simple terms. It's nonsensical. If I want something to do well, and I'm concerned about the industry, and I'm concerned about the comic shops and the creators, right? And that's what I'm concerned about. Even if I don't like the stuff, I'm gonna still promote that industry and those creators and those shops because that's what I care about, right? And that was a hypothetical because I actually do care about all of those, but I also think generally there's good comics and bad comics, just like there's always been. There's so many more comics and such a broad range of creators that are working on them now. I think it's a great time to be a comics fan. It really is. If you care about the industry, if you care about comic shops, go shop at them. Dedicating your time and your days to just telling everybody how shit it is or whatever, you're not concerned about those things. You're concerned about your narrative. You're concerned about pushing your agenda. You're an activist.
How do you do, fellow kids?
The other one, not organized chaos.
Actual fandom.
Here's the thing.
Hey, where are all my comic books?
I have nothing left except Spider-Man.
So we got ourselves an X-Men fan.
You want to see what Spider-Man #1 looks like?
I believe comics are a last link to an ancient way of passing on history.
The Thing, is this dork made of orange rock like the rest of his body?
Here's the thing.
I'm looking for a Batman #14. That's a very serious book.
I believe comics are a form of history that someone, somewhere felt or experienced.
How do I know that it's not a cheap reprint?
Better not be jacking off to the Japanese comics, I swear to God.
It's a superhero secret.
It's impossible. Lois could never have Superman's baby.
You can't pick a Superman #77 with the 200s.
I guarantee he blows a load like a shot right through the back.
They haven't even discovered your kryptonite yet.
His Kryptonian biological makeup is enhanced by Earth's yellow sun. Lois gets a tan and kick a kick right through her stomach.
Then, of course, those experiences and that history got chewed up in the commercial machine, got jazzed up, made titillating cartoon for the sale rack.
You know they're all bullshit, right?
Trust me, true believer.
Here at AF, we work hard to make sure we've got the facts to back up every accusation of chuddery, that we're entertaining every time we spotlight some fascistic film fandom flimflamer, culture vulture, Star Wars swindler, or comics conman. And by we, I mean me. And while I'm certainly not doing it for money, I do need to buy a new PC soon for continued editing and streaming. That's why I want to express my deep gratitude for my support on Patreon, from dopest members like William, Michael, and Smirking Gun. That's not to say that the members at the chillest and basest tiers are any less appreciated. But even if you can't swing it, you can follow me for free on Patreon and still get some exclusive content and opportunities to chat directly with me. YouTube makes us give every ounce of ourselves. Sometimes it feels like we're being milked dry. Support at any level is hits. Look, here's the thing.
It's the ever-loving blue-eyed thing. It's clobbering time.
Gotta wait for the countdown. 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right, cool. Hello and welcome. And thank you for those of you who have been waiting, because I am in the midst of a keyboard kerfuffle. I might actually have to take a minute here once we get started to, maybe I can do that while on stream, like switch it out and see if I can do that without fucking everything up. Maybe. But you know what? No, this one wasn't directed by Ryan Johnson, unfortunately. Gonna go ahead and bring on our guest because I feel like he's waited a good amount for me already. So what's up, Ernie? Blurred Without Fear. How's it going, man?
It's me. How's it going?
Pretty, yeah, you know, all right. It's going all right. I mean, I'm much better now that we're started and everything. There's that, you know, pre-stream, like, oh, gotta get everything fucking ready. Had a tech issue this morning before the stream, of course, you know, and then like my girlfriend, she's awesome. She just drove to get a new keyboard because I'm using hers right now, but she's got to start working. Like, she needs her keyboard at her fucking computer. Like, so she like,
that's love.
Yeah, it is, man. It really is. She got
that's
in,
like real love.
She just got in like right before the stream started, and it's like, here's the keyboard. I still just have to plug it in, but we'll see how we.
Oh man.
Yeah, keyboard crisis, exactly.
Oh my god, crisis on infinite keyboards. There you go. That's the tweet or the X if Musk is to be
Gordy's
quoted.
doing the unboxing already. Gordy already did the unboxing, so he was literally laying here. My cat was laying on the box. Anyway, man, how you doing? How you been? It's been a while.
Man, I've been pretty good. Oh, just doing the usual, man. Just trying to keep making content. One man operation still in full effect.
I feel that.
And yeah, I was about to say, when I was watching the reel, and I was like, it was kind of funny because there was the part where you're like, yeah, like we here, and I was like, damn. I was like, dude, Dane's coming up, man. He's got a team. And then you were like, actually, we is me. And I was like, oh man, I feel your pain. Yeah. But yeah, man. It's all good though. It's all good. I've actually been working on stuff, and not just videos. I've been pretty vocal, so I guess I can talk about some of this. But like, I've actually been working on my own comic.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, writing, drawing, inking, pretty much everything, maybe except for color.
That is that's fucking awesome, because like, yeah, we got where my mind's gonna go on this stuff. We got these fucking grifters that are, oh, we're comic book creators now, and
we're gonna change the world.
Yeah, it's like, man, why are we having a conversation about how well Isom and shit is doing, but also having a conversation about the fucking industry is dying? Shouldn't they solve each other out,
I mean, I personally chuckle to myself whenever someone tries to convince me that Cyberfrog or Isom or whatever throwback to a bygone era comic they're trying to make, because it's not changing the game.
They're not even playing the same game.
Yeah, like, no. I don't even think they're even playing a game. I feel like they're just doing random stuff.
I mean, like, I didn't know this for a long time. By the way, I don't know if you probably are aware of this, but like, they don't do digital.
No, they only do print.
It's fucking crazy to me, man. I don't understand.
In a digital era,
right? It's like, and I'm sure they have their justifications for it, but man, it's like, whatever your reasoning is, it's no different than, the guy that's still making DVDs, you know what I mean? And like, won't put a shit on streaming.
Right.
It's crazy, but yeah, they're selling their stuff through a completely different, avenue. They're not like, I mean, like, I think they might try and get their book in a couple of shops here and there, but for the most part, most shops are going to be aware of Comicsgate and shit, and they're not going to want to, stock their stuff. Aside from the fact that the way that they sell it is like $35 for a comic, or whatever. And then also, why would a comic shop owner put your comic in his store if all you do all the time is talk shit on every other comic that he sells? You know what I mean? Like, It just seems kind of.
Well, that's and that's kind of the main thing for me, because what I always tell people is I believe in building bridges.
Yep.
And I don't know. I think I might have seen you repost this somewhere, and I know I saw it making the rounds, but it was a video that Tim Seeley had put out.
Yeah,
where he was talking about how, like, you know, like back when I was a kid, you know, I was really into Spider-Man.
Talk about the Clone Saga. Yeah.
Well, he said, like, the Clone Saga came out, and you know what I did? I just stopped reading the Clone Saga.
That's it.
He's like, I still love Spider-Man, but if I don't like it, I'm just not going to read it. And that was me. That was 100% me.
But the thing is, I think that only addresses like part of the issue, because a big part of it is that these guys, these content creators, right? Like their audiences by and large aren't even trying the comics. You know what I mean? So like,
no, they're not.
So you got a bunch of people that they seem to be fully invested in what's going on with comics, and yet they haven't actually read any of them, and they're just listening to what a YouTuber is saying and shit. And it's like, man, I don't even know how you deal with something like that. It's like, just read some comics, I guess, but. Yeah, it's a whole mess.
A mess is honestly, a mess is a nice way to put it.
Well, I mean, so this, I don't want to spend like the whole time on this, because there's definitely stuff about just comics that I want to talk with you about, man.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The guy for that, but I do want to. This happened earlier, where so apparently some dude was calling out Mr. Eric July, and I haven't fully gotten to absorb this yet, so we're kind of going to be looking at it together for the first time. But the way it looks like it went didn't look so great for Eric. All right, so I don't know if you know who Vicky Verse is. She said,
no. That's a. I feel like I should. It sounds like a name I should know.
She's always calling out Comicsgate and Eric July and stuff. She knows her shit. So this Immortal Rising Comics, and I'm not speaking for who this is or anything. I don't know anything about this person, what their book is like, what they believe or anything. So none of that. But like, so he let's see. Okay, so Eric July recently he posted under his sock account, the Rippaverse Goalposts account. That's totally just him. It's not like, I'm sorry, like it is.
It is no, it's 100% just him.
But he posted the other day, like, oh, so you've had people promote your comic book on their YouTube channels, but then now they feel like you owe them to, promote their stuff. And he was just saying they don't want to promote anybody's shit. Which is like, that's a great way to build a community. And like you're talking about bridge building, right?
Right.
But whatever, that's his attitude. And so this dude apparently called him out, and he said, let's see. So basically, he said you could have made a different product, but you chose a comic. You don't even read indies or participate in the community out here, grinding as beginning entrepreneurs, except as drama fodder. It's true. That's all he does. That's his marketing tactic.
Right.
Just continue promoting a few already large money campaigns and leave the small guys alone if you find us irrelevant or a nuisance. You're not helping the marketplace. True. And save your bootstraps and pie platitudes and keep walking. So yeah, I mean, generally, I agree with that. And then so Eric decided he's going to get magnanimous. He says, hey man, I clicked on your page and noticed you had an active campaign. You only had 10 backers in 6 months. So what I did was essentially fund your campaign, and of course giving a tip. And he says, here's what I'd like you to do. Work on your attitude, because it is a terrible spot. Being small does not make you admirable, nor does it justify. So he's just like, trying to throw some money around to be a dick.
Yeah, he's trying to be, and he's trying to high horse them.
Mm-hmm. And it's, yeah.
Would this not be? Is this not virtue signaling?
Yeah, but I mean, when you do it with money,
but it's disingenuous. It's disingenuous virtue signaling.
Yeah,
what it is.
Yep. I mean, with money though, it's okay. It's more like he's flexing, is what it is. And so he points out. He says, "Look, that's actually just a storefront. The thing that Eric found is a storefront. His campaign has been funded for a while. Like, so that's like." And then he fucking refunded Eric's money. So yeah, storefront, no end date right here.
Right. It's not like this isn't some Kickstarter deal right here.
But
this isn't Indiegogo.
And then
do people still use Indiegogo? I have no idea.
Oh yeah, that's all Comicsgate uses for sure.
Oh, okay.
That's
So what you're saying is that I don't need to use Indiegogo, is what you're telling me.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because, do you know why they use that one? Because they don't have any kind of like real strict rules about how you operate outside of your campaign. Like, Patreon, like there's that one time they fucking got on Ethan Van Sciver about a tweet that he did. Patreon said, if you don't delete this tweet, we're going to delete your fucking account, basically. So Patreon will get on top of shit. Indiegogo won't do that kind of shit. And then they also, if you don't fund it, basically you can get to keep all the money, which is the big difference.
That is scummy.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I don't like that. I didn't know that about Indiegogo. Like, I was wondering why, because I know some people who operate in those circles.
Yeah.
And
it's hard to avoid them.
I've always seen them do it. Like, not to put anyone on. Well, I mean, I don't really care. If they get mad, they get mad. But like, well, we're not like bosom buddies. I'm not gonna sit here and act like, oh yeah, we're like the best of friends. We're just people who know each other in passing because he does art and I do art, and that's Kane and White, who like is a.
I just came across him.
Yeah, he recently caught some shrapnel because he openly talked about working with Ripa, and then folks accused him of being a part of Comicsgate, which, I mean, to be fair, he hangs out with a lot of Comicsgate people, and he has worked with a lot of Comicsgate people. So I would say it's a fair assessment to say that you are the company you keep. But
right. There's a set of standards and criteria that like I think of when it comes to somebody who's like Comicsgate, right? Like like for instance, I watched Mark Millar go through that from not being Comicsgate to essentially being Comicsgate over the course of a week. We all did. You know what I mean? Like, because like with every day he'd make another statement, and I'm like, man, he's getting closer. He's getting like, oh shit, now he's just straight up, full throat saying this kind of thing. And in my mind, whether you claim it or not, you're just going to fall under that label at that point.
No, he was collecting the Infinity Stones. That's what he was collecting, the Comicsgate Infinity Stones. Like each week with every tweet, he was like, yes, adding it to the gauntlet.
Yeah.
Ah, yes, cancel pigs. There's another one.
Yeah. So this all ended up with even better. The book was already funded on Indiegogo and fulfilled. And then the other thing was just a storefront. And then, Eric tried to do some weird flex to say, shut the fuck up. I'm the one who put your book over the finish line. See what a great guy I am, and it's just, that is the kind of guy he is. He did show what kind of guy he is.
I hate it here. This is terrible. Can I just, you know what? Look, you don't like, okay. I do nice things for people all the time. And this isn't like a flex.
No. Yeah.
I don't talk about it.
Right.
I don't make tweets about it. I don't say, hey, look at me. Look how great I am. Look how good of spirit, how good of heart I am. I gave this person, like, no, I'm not gonna, I don't do, I mean, I might make a tweet saying, hey, I checked out this thing and I think you should too.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to be sitting here talking about how, yeah, I just dropped, 2, 3, 4, however many, money numbers on your project because I'm just so fucking awesome.
Well, and then that's one thing, but to do it even just like as a kind of like to get back at somebody for calling you out is especially just like, it's like that's like the I don't know, the old trope of like a gangster who's just like, I don't know, shoots a guy and then gives him some like $1,000, go to the hospital or something. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm not gonna lie. That is a gang. That is definitely that's some Al Capone shit. Sure. But I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that like I'm not petty. Like, and I'm not, this is one of those situations where like, I can't really, this is a pure hypothetical because let's just be honest with ourselves. It doesn't matter if Isom makes $1 million because and I mean, when I say that, I mean from like actual people, because that shit's astroturfed anyway.
Yep. 100%.
That shit's astroturfed anyway. Was it that he got Glenn Becked Let's just go ahead and be honest with ourselves about that.
That's what it is.
and look, I'm not in. This isn't even like conjecture. This isn't even conjecture at this point. Like, but I just want to, but like, if it was a situation where like the roles were reversed and he was in that situation that he perceived that other person to be in, we're like, oh man, your shit's failing. I'm a petty guy. And honestly, just because I know how much it would pain him, like I know this other cat that he did this to doesn't care. Like this person is like, they were so principled that they actually gave the money back. But me, I'm petty. I would look at that and be like, oh wow, he's not making any money. All right, you know what? Here's one rack. And here's the thing. I want you to put, but this is conditional. I want you to put that this comic would only exist because Blur Without Fear paid me.
Damn. Yeah.
Like, but the thing is, I'm not gonna be like, look how nice I am. No, I'm gonna go on Twitter or X or whatever the hell people call it this week, and I would say, ha, look at that. It only exists because of me.
Well, I mean, because you're being real, you're being honest though. That's the thing. That's the difference. Instead of like pretending like you're being a good guy when you're really doing it for fucking shitty motives or something.
Right.
Like you mentioned Blaze. I don't know if you've seen this clip.
Oh,
the Rippaverse isn't fucking going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I just fucking relaunched. For Kenneth's sake, I'm not playing around.
Wow.
That's just a little bit of editing on my part, but no.
I mean,
it's
I'm not gonna lie, that was awesome.
Yeah,
can we have more of that? Like,
I mean, we can, yeah.
Ooh, got him.
Like my haters, man. I need there, but these guys are so fucking invested in my failure, right? Got these gay ass dudes. These guys are 40 and 50 years old doing nonstop damn videos about me. And I'm like, bro, get a grip. None of y'all got families. You got women that you're supposed to be tending to, and you worried about me and what it is that I got going because you're so banking on my failure. It's like, bro, the most mild thing, I've said this before, guys. The thing that I've done that's been the most mild thing, the least political thing that I've done, the least controversial thing that I've done, or should have been, was launch a fucking comic book company. Who would have thought?
Wow. I mean,
fucking mad.
But you know what I love? I love how like he's crying about folks being mad, but he's mad.
Right. Like, dude, I mean, listen, like, he's got 500 something thousand subscribers. The fact that he goes after people with a couple of hundred, like we've got friends in in our kind of crew that like at one point had just a few hundred subs and would criticize them, and then he'd get right on top of them. And it's like, dude, I think something that you earn whenever you get to that amount of subscribers is like to kind of ignore some of the smaller shit, right? Like you don't have to respond to that.
Dude, I don't really vanity search. I don't really vanity search myself because I honestly just really don't care what people think about me, especially if it's negative. Like, I mean, and when I say negative, I mean more just like you're just being a hater. Like you're being hateful. Like you're not giving me constructive criticism is one thing, but like if you're just being like a shit ass, I don't care what you think.
Exactly.
Like if you like it's like. I'm all for people correcting me when I'm wrong about something, or if I have done something that is egregious and should be called out. Yes, call me out. I don't care. Do it. I would be more mad if you didn't. But I will definitely say, if for whatever reason, someone, especially someone smaller than me, like not on my level. Not to even, I don't even like thinking in those terms, but like if someone came at me with like 2 subscribers, or whatever, and said, "Oh, hey, I got a video here. I'm gonna cook Blur Without Fear. Check this out." I've already won.
Well, I mean, the only thing that can happen there is you help them, you know, like, and that's the main reason not to do it is because, like, clearly somebody's just trying to, you know, get some clout on your name, and it's like, we got this guy right here trying to get clout on our name right now. What's up, Bob?
Yeah, no, I need some clout, guys. You guys got some clout for me?
All that for a drop of clout.
It was a lot of work to get in here too. My computer did not want to work with me.
Man,
this was an event. No.
Everybody's having problems this morning. I still need to actually switch this keyboard out, so I might have to go silent for a second while I do that. But
hey, I got you. I got you. We got this. We have the con. We have the con.
I mean, Bob literally does have control over there, so he can.
Each other.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all know each other at all. If y'all talked before or nothing, but like,
no, I don't believe so. I don't. Oh, wait, where? Oh, there he is.
I'm scared.
No, I'm out.
Don't expect I don't stuff.
I don't know if you've seen it all. That we kind of got this initiative thing we've been doing for like a year now. There's like a few channels that come together. We stream weekly, and you know, just kind of got our communities together and trying to, you know, do some kind of algorithmic pushback against the bullshit on YouTube. But yeah, Bob's been pretty. Bob is actually he debated not just Ethan Van Sciver but Eric at different points, and some pretty fucking banger moments came out of both of those.
Oh wow!
Bob is
I need to see these. I'm certain that they the EBSs and the Rippas.
Yeah.
I'm sure they were just above board about the whole thing.
Oh yeah, totally honest, guys. Yeah. I'll pull up a clip real quick, Bob, and you can play that.
They were very respectful. It was ridiculous.
Salt of the earth.
Yeah. Ripa started by threatening him. It's like how he started the debate. But yeah.
Oh my god. Are we like 5?
Well, you know what it is that like I think he kind of felt some valid criticism hitting him for the first time ever. And also in the debate, Bob exposed his ass on a couple of different points, and he did not like that shit. So after it was over, he went on like a 2-hour post stream just fucking ranting and talking all kinds of mad shit and making shit up, and yeah, it was a sight to behold.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no longer up on his end, so all we have is clips on our
end. Yeah, that's what I figured, because I feel like when he feels like he's won, he'll leave it up. But if he gets cooked, he's not gonna leave it up.
He actually did leave it up for a while. I think he took down for the lawsuit because he, like, at the end, like, he was talking about how I was an absent father and shit, which was objectively not true.
All he did was Bob just said that he's divorced and has kids. That's the only information about that. And then Eric starts going off about how some dude named Tyrone came and took his woman, or he left his wife or whatever, left his kids at home. All this crazy shit. It was nuts.
I swear I don't like these people.
It was what we debate over, really. So it makes sense that he would follow up with it.
I mean, I can definitely say that just in my limited experience talking to him, which is not an enjoyable experience.
Didn't you go on a stream once? Didn't you?
Yeah, just the one time. Like, it was one of those situations. Like, I will definitely, because like let's just like put the address the elephant in the room. I'm not a debater. I'm honestly not a very aggressive person. I don't like, if I believe something and I think someone else doesn't, my general mentality is, well, okay, fine. Go with God or whatever imaginary person you believe in or whatever the hell. I don't care. I third generation don't give a fuck. And so like a lot of times I'm just kind of like, whatever, dude. Like, I might get mad about something or whatever, but like I generally am just like, whatever. So like it ended up, I think like it turned into a shouting match at some point. I honestly don't really remember that much of that part because I just kind of blocked it out. But like afterwards, I remember pointing out that he didn't understand what a legacy character was, and when I tried to, like, when I asked him a question, because he was like, I think it was because it started off with him complaining about people tokenizing characters, and yeah, he mentions like the Jon Stewarts, the Miles Moraleses, and so on and so forth. But like I asked him, I said, do you like The Flash?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like Hal Jordan?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah. I said, those are legacy characters. I was like, Barry Allen is not the first Flash. Neither is Hal Jordan the first Green Lantern. I was like, they literally had characters who came before them. They may not be as popular, but Jay Garrick is the first Flash.
Mm-hmm.
Alan Scott is the original Green Lantern. And he just kind of looked at me as if I grew two heads. And then, there was like, I'm sure I had terrible moments in that because once again, I'm not a debater. I'm just a person. I talk.
Well, and
I had bad moments too.
Yeah.
Dude,
But
Eric
like,
he's media trained, dude. Like, so he's gonna, he knows how to get out of any kind of situation that makes him look vulnerable.
Oh, yeah, no, 100%. Well, because, and honestly, what's kind of funny about it, and I actually feel gross saying this, but like, after we had our little, shouting match, and there was, I guess he felt there was no more content to mine out of me, we actually got along. I mean, in so much as two people who aren't arguing with each other, it was like, oh, well, I was like, I do agree. This is a problem in comics. Taking a otherwise marginalized character and just slapping a already well-known title on them. I'm not the hugest fan of it myself. I don't hate it, but if there is an option to make a new character that is of a marginalized community, I say go for it. I would rather new characters be created who can stand on their own than have to live in the shadow of somebody else. But I don't get irrationally angry about it when a black or brown character becomes like Batman.
The reason that just like everything they talk about, there may be some like a kernel of truth to things, but the reasons for it are not what they say. So like, talking about legacy characters and all, taking one character and now you got another one that's kind of another version. One of the reasons, the main reason they do that is because for one, comic book creators don't want to create new characters and give them to fucking Marvel and DC. How many decades have we seen what happens whenever that happens, right?
Mm-hmm. They don't get paid.
Ed Brubaker talking about he didn't get paid shit for Winter Soldier, and it goes on and on. So like that's what they do in order to just because how else are they going to create characters that they can already own the IP to? And you know what I mean? It's a corporate fucking thing. There are problems with the corporatism of Marvel and DC, absolutely. But these guys then taking it and pointing it at basically essentially saying that it's because wokeness and because leftist progressive ideals and shit like that. It's like, hold on, man, you're not only fucking being a bigot in a lot of cases, you're not even addressing the fucking problems that really exist. But I'm gonna step out for a second while I deal with this keyboard issue. So Bob, hold down the fort. You guys got it. Sorry about this. Very unprofessional.
What? I'm not ready for this. So how do you end up talking to Eric?
So when the first trailer for Falcon and the Winter Soldier came out, he did a reaction video to it, and either somebody retweeted a clip from it or the reaction stuff. I don't really remember because, like, honestly, at the time, I had no clue who he was. Like, it was just one of those things. It's like, he may be big to everybody else, but to me, he didn't even exist. He wasn't on my YouTube algorithm. But someone tagged me in in that clip or whatever, retweet, whatever the hell it was. Actually, no, they retweeted him. They retweeted his video. And he was tagged in it, obviously. And someone tagged me in it asking me my opinion on his take. And I said, this dude is a fucking clown. That was literally my response. And of course, a hit dog will often holler. Because I've actually had this happen with other people that are like of his similar ilk. Whether they're involved in comics or not. And he started arguing with me. Like, he started responding to my response to the retweet. And then he started retweeting me, so like his audience would see what was going on, so they would come flood in and like, you know, dogpile me or whatever. And this is like when I was kind of only just getting like marginally of a like. I don't even think I was that big of a, and I still don't think I'm that big of a content creator by comparison, but like I was like just a dude. I think I had maybe a few thousand subscribers. I was, by my own admission, I was nobody. Like I didn't think of myself as anyone to write home about, despite the fact that I probably should, because it would probably make me a better content creator. But
I know that feeling.
But no, he started a dog pile, and he basically begged me to debate him, to the point where he started emailing me. And
really?
I was just like, dude, I was like, I just don't care. And then eventually I was like, you know what, dude, I was like, if you just really want to talk to me, fine. And at the time I realized there was some crosstalk between my audience and his audience. Well, I honestly think his audience is largely a bunch of white people who are very not okay with diversity and inclusion. Just that's my take. It's because honestly, anytime I will say this, I have a lot of black and brown people in my circle who I discovered followed him, and there was a little bit of an exodus from my channel in that regard. Like some of them left my channel because they didn't like that I didn't like him. And then there were other people who I did gain from him that were like, they stopped messing with him to come, be on my side, which it didn't matter. He still has like hundreds of thousands of subscribers. It's not that big of a fucking deal, but like it made me realize that it was only a small number, because every time I would look at one of his like videos, peruse his comment sections and go on Twitter and see the people who were putting on the cape for him, it was largely white people. I was like, there were some black and brown people who were, but I think they were under the assumption that they were also surrounded by a lot more black and brown people than they realized. And I was just like, nah, dude. I was like, you're pretty. Your audience is largely white, and that's why they like you. They like you because you're basically like the Candace Owens of comic book commentary. That like you're the guy who says, you say the Candace Owens things. Hey, thank you.
Honestly, I can't understand how y'all didn't know who this guy was before. Like, how are you subscribed to me but not subscribed to BLERD?
You know what? Look, I'm gonna be real with you. And this is something I tell people all the time. And this is why I was actually having a conversation with someone, another content creator of a similar size as myself. And the idea was we were talking about the idea of working with people regardless of size. I have done live streams, podcasts, video collaborations with YouTubers, Twitch streamers, TikTokers, Instagram people, whatever, who some are bigger than me, some are not. But the assumption that it would be stupid of me to presume that just because I have 80 some odd thousand subscribers and someone else has like 1, 2, 4, 5, 8, 10, 12, 20, whatever, that all of their people are my people. Like there are people I readily accept. There are people who probably don't even know who the hell I am. And that's why I only recently discovered that people know who I am. And it's scary to me. Because I am nobody. I am literally just a dude. But yeah, I appreciate anyone who here if you like me, I guess. This
and you were, I think, pretty sure that you were the first, like, you know, kind of YouTuber that I saw as like, no, that's a fucking YouTuber. Well, after I'd been doing it for just a little while, and I was like, I want to see if I can get him on the show. You know what I mean? And like, yeah. So I mean, it was looking way up in the sky whenever I asked you on. Man.
Well, I mean, but you know what? I see a lot of other people who like reach back, and I feel like I'm a firm believer that a rising tide lifts all ships. I feel like if, regardless of platform, regardless of size of follower base, I don't I don't mind working with anyone or collabing with anyone, doing an appearance with anyone, or even having them on my platform. You know, even if they are smaller than me, I don't care, because I mean, you never know. Like you could potentially have an audience of people who don't know who the fuck I am. Like, you could potentially have eyes and ears on you who aren't aware of who I am, and I could have eyes and ears on me that don't know who you are. And all that does is help each other. True. And it's not like we're at war with one another. We're not like, dueling ideologies or, bitter enemies or, whatever. It's like, dude, we're in the same, game, more or less. I tend to focus more on just like the comics themselves, less the people. Yeah. And if I do focus on the people, I'm usually only focusing on people that I actually give a shit about.
I'm a drama queen. You know what I mean? That's how I roll.
I can be, but I'm petty, so I know I would get too caught up, and I would probably like it's same as what would happen with Rippa. Like, once like it got ugly, I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna go outside.
All right, so
that was the end of it. That was the end of it between me and him.
I've got the keyboard. I got the keyboard situation taken care of, but now I'm getting these Eric clips loaded up, man, because you got to see some of this shit. Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
yes. I want to. I like seeing Rippa uneasy.
This.
Oh, well, there's that.
There's like 3 fucking enormous fails right here. So here's the first one. It's got some context added to it, but oh man, why is it not? Okay.
Why is he doing what he's doing?
As far as what? Give me a specific
anything. Give me pick your own example and give it to me.
I'm not giving you anything.
Give me an example.
I'll tell you what.
I'll give you an example. You've read Amazing Fantasy number 15, right?
Let's talk about. Go back to Hotline. What about it? Are you asking? What specific?
Wait. You've read Amazing Fantasy number 15, right?
What specific action are you asking? Pertaining? No. I'm gonna get stuck on this one. You've read Amazing Fantasy number 15, right? Are you what? Let's talk about that. You just asked me a question. Let's quit moving the goalposts. What specifically about the?
Oh, you know what he did? Oh, yep. I was gonna say he either wikied that shit or someone told him.
Dude, yeah, I mean, Bob like went and got the stream that was on his stream, Eric's version of the stream, and then edited it to this so you could get the time and got the timing just right so you could see that that's exactly what happened. He fucking looks down at his chat, and then it's. Look, and like we always say it's not a gatekeeping thing. Like, as in, like, if you like comics, you got to know what Amazing Fantasy 15 is. But if you're a fucking YouTuber that styles yourself as an expert in comics, and you got a thing called For Canon's Sake and stuff like that, you need to know what Amazing Fantasy 15 is, dude. It's
well, you know what? I actually probably will forgive him if he had just admitted, just like Amazing Fantasy 15. That's not come to mind. I would have been fine with that, but he dodged it.
I mean, look, I don't. I have a pretty good memory, but I don't remember the first appearance of every character.
No.
But I will say this. If you would have posed that same question to me and asked me if I had read Amazing Fantasy 15, even though, to be fair, that comics, like that specific issue is burned into the back of my mind because it's just something I just know.
It's just one of those comics, man. It's like, if you're...
Yeah. If you told me, if we were talking about Thor and you said, hey, have you ever read Journey? I don't even know the exact the first appearance of Thor, but I know it was in Journey into Mystery. So if you would have said, have you read Journey into the Mystery, whatever number, I would be like, oh yeah, first appearance of Thor. Okay, yeah, I just would have ran with that because that's the only Journey into Mystery I think anyone gives a shit about. Is when Thor first started being in the book. 83. Thank you, Sandman. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie. So full disclosure, in my head, I kept thinking like 28 or like 38. So like it was a weird mix of numbers. But still, the sentiment is the same. I would not have sat there and tried to dodge the question and wait until somebody fed me information. I would have just simply said, I don't know. Like, I'm not going to sit here and like I prop myself up as like a comic book talking head. But I don't prop myself up as a guy who knows everything. I fuck shit up all the time. Like, anyone who watches my videos will probably tell you. If you've seen my videos, there are moments where I say something where I'm wrong, and one of two things happens. And the ones that people notice, I either go back and edit that shit and be like, okay, actually, this is the actual thing, and I just like do like I ADR that shit in or some shit, or I put a note that says actually this. But I'm not gonna sit here and be like, no, I know, I just don't want to answer your question.
Yeah.
Oh wait, who told me? Okay. Oh, actually, see. I hate this guy. I hate him.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was just his refusal to like properly remotely answer it was why I just
does he even answer it though?
I just had to.
Does he even give an actual answer?
He only gives.
Although, yeah, when he actually does start stating facts about Amazing Fantasy 15, he gets them wrong.
But what he says here is just let's see. Oh, sorry, I got a window open. Give me 1 second. If you want to play it, Bob,
you're good.
You can
I'll
play
go
it,
ahead
Bob.
and explain in Amazing Fantasy number 15. I asked him what was Peter's motivation, because the whole point was about motivation. I asked him what was Peter's motivation going to the wrestling match, and his answer was to get money to help Uncle Ben and Aunt May. It's like, ooh. No.
Like look, full disclosure. I have maybe read Amazing Fantasy 15, like a facsimile edition, like maybe once or twice in my life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't have granular knowledge of Amazing Fantasy 15, but I know enough about what happened in that comic to know that that's wrong.
I imagine if Bob had said what was Peter Parker's motivation to go, to the wrestling match, he wouldn't have known that shit then either. So you know what I mean? Like he just he wouldn't know it.
It's just dumb to me. It's just dumb to me because you don't like. It's okay to admit that you don't know.
Yeah,
it is.
Like
exactly.
I say it all the time. Like I literally I think I put out a video the other day talking about the current Wonder Woman run, and there's a mention of a character who has been in books I have not read, and I literally say I haven't been keeping up. Like I was like, hey, Dr. Hate, he's a new character. I know that he's popped up in some of the recent Beast World stuff, but I have not been reading any of the Beast World stuff currently because I'm just trying to get caught up on other stuff. But I was like, hey, maybe if I get around to it, I'll come back. I'll talk about it. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, well, actually, I actually have read all what is it, 15 some odd issues of Beast. There hasn't even been 15 issues of Beast World. But just saying, like, I wouldn't sit here and pretend. I would actually go read it and then come back and say something. That's the problem with all these guys is pretension and trying to act as if they are as dialed in as they claim. Like, all you have to do, and this is for anything, this isn't just comics. All you have to do is ask simple questions we all learned in elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
Why? How? When? That's it. You don't even have to be any more specific than that. And most of the time, their arguments will typically fall apart because they don't know.
100%. All right, so just to finish that one out, it's to show you how he responded once he did finally look at once he cheated. He goes like, this is how he handles it.
That don't know who Spider-Man is, dipshit.
Suffering.
There are plenty of people that don't know who Spider-Man is, dipshit.
Suffering Steve Ditko.
What?
How can you not know that Spider-Man first appeared in 1962's classic Amazing Fantasy number 50?
All right. You got to see, this was probably the biggest one, man, that we found context for, because I'm sure you've seen his Miles shit. How this dude hates Miles. He
hates Miles a lot. I don't understand the Miles hate, honestly. It's weird.
Well, it might be a little bit of just overcompensation once you see this.
Oh, God.
Have a million spider folk, which doesn't even make sense when you consider Peter's origin.
I define everybody that's not Peter Parker as an unoriginal Peter Parker.
Talking about Peter Darker.
Oh, my God.
Fun fact. Eric used to like the character, even saying he's more than just a black Peter Parker, but he changed his tune when he found out he could make more money pandering to racist comic book fans who hate Miles Morales.
You're just actively making shit up, ha ha ha.
Did you used to like him? Not judging or whatever. Just curious.
No.
Do you like Miles Morales then?
No.
Yeah, some characters have been written decently that are of different races and have suited up in the suit of a hero or a version of that hero. One of the more obvious is Miles Morales as Spider-Man.
You're just actively making shit up, ha ha ha.
Miles Morales has his own background. This is far better than just simply making Peter Parker a black guy. Talking about Peter Darker.
Wow.
But Miles is an exception, make no mistake.
I define everybody that's not Peter Parker as an unoriginal Peter Parker.
And it will always be preferable to have another character with his own unique skill set, unique art. This is far better than just simply making Peter Parker a black guy.
Also, can I just say something? Can I just say, can I just say that, look, I'm not trying to be mean. Mm-hmm. But bruh man needs to get somebody to help him with his beard game.
Well, I mean, one thing I noticed is like that video
saying.
was 4 years ago, which was about the time that he started working for Blaze, by the way. That was 4 years ago, and he looked, even though he's kind of still espousing what I think is a silly opinion back then. He's got like light in his eyes, like he seems to be enjoying talking about comics back then.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like now, you don't ever see the dude fucking smile. Like he's constantly like, got no life in him.
That was the criticism I got pushback on, because I think what people thought is that I felt he had to make positive content all the time.
Mm-hmm.
My criticism was that I was like, if you're always angry, then how are you helping the situation? Like, if you like being angry is not going to fix the problem that you perceive the problem being.
It's
so like case in point, I'm not always positive.
Yeah.
I have been very vocal when I don't like stuff. But the thing is, when I don't like something, I don't bother making a video to say I don't like something, because to me, that is a waste of my time.
I mean, this is literally, we have our Wednesday stream is called the Shill Cast, because we've all been called shills so many fucking times. And it's like, I mean, never mind the fact that we do criticize stuff, pretty regularly. But it's the same kind of thing. It's like, man, it takes so much more effort for me to like talk about shit that I don't like. When it's like, it's silly. But,
it's here's what I'll look. I will tell you this. I have discovered that a lot of people in the industry, they watch, they listen. And while I don't think every single comic creator watches my YouTube channel, here's the thing. I know for a fact because I have seen them in my chat. I have seen them in my YouTube comments. I have seen them say stuff about it on social media. I know for a fact Joshua Cassara watches my videos. The artist, the current artist for the X-Men.
Yeah.
I know that Bernard Chang watches my channel because when I did a video about the Jean Grey series that just ended, he made a comment about it.
You're a classier guy than me because like whenever like Jeff Thorne showed up in my comments, I was like, "You want to come on my show and talk to me?" You know what I mean? So like, if I notice I got their attention, I'm like, "I'm gonna bring them on. Bring them on."
well, no, and you know what? Honestly, I will say this: I do put the feeler out there.
Yeah.
I do put the feeler out there. But the thing is, I say all this because what good is me shit-talking them going to do? Like, if I found out tomorrow, like, and I know Dan Slott is aware of who I am as a person. I know that I'm pretty positive Dan Slott is aware of who I am. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure that, you know, the Reggie Hudlins and Dennis Cowans of the world, I know they know who I am. I know that they watch my videos. And there have been times where I've been critical of stuff, but I've never been an asshole about it. I just say, I don't agree with the direction this went. And if I would have done it, maybe I would. But I make it clear that I'm not an industry person who has any real power or say, and that I'm not connected to this. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I say. You know, yes, do I think that Hardware versus Icon was a big fat waste of time? Yes, I do. But I'm not going to make a video saying that because it's reductive. Instead of complaining about something, I could just make something, which is what I've been trying to do. So I feel like if he would spend more time, Ripa, I mean, talking about his own, well, I mean, he has been, but like actually focusing on his own shit as opposed to bitching about everybody else's, he would probably actually, like, you know, not saying he would get far, but just I feel like maybe he would have a better chance at actually making Isom a household name. I don't think that it would be good.
You like to think that, but if you look at his videos and look at where he has tried that, he has actually tried it, and he doesn't try it for very long.
Oh, because I bet you he doesn't get the views. I bet the views don't come.
Exactly. He's cultivated an audience that they need that fucking venom. They need that fucking shit talking. Otherwise, they just don't care. They don't care.
I'll give you this too. I don't want to put anyone on blast, but bigger comic book YouTubers than myself, I'll just say in the 2 million range.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I don't want to put anybody on blast. I've seen what happens.
Comics Explained. I got you.
There you go. Oh, yeah, you said it, so I didn't have to. I have seen moments where, and now I'm not shitting on Rob for this, but Rob learned real quick. You are the house that you built. You live in the house that you built. And when he tried to talk about Falcon, or Sam Wilson when he first became Captain America, I read them comments. Notice what Rob didn't do anymore.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. The difference between me and a lot of, and I'm not trying to say this makes me better. And if anything, it makes me an idiot. I love Captain Marvel. Unironically, I enjoy Captain Marvel comics. Carol Danvers is one of my favorite characters. I love all the Captain Marvels, maybe with the exception of Genus Vell. Not the hugest fan of Genus Vell. Sorry, just not.
Kind of a prick.
Yeah. He's a bit of and he's very edgelord. I'm not down with that. However, I really love Carol Danvers.
Yeah.
She's one of my, like, I can say unironically, she's one of my favorite Avengers characters.
When written well, she is like one of the more kind of like, I guess, complex characters because of how badass she is, and then like her own limitations are what hold her back, kind of thing, and constantly fighting against those.
Precisely. No, 100%, precisely. But here's the thing: I've done videos about Captain Marvel. I quickly learned that was not the way, because. Yeah, if I wanted to shit on Captain Marvel, that would get me thousands of views, maybe even millions. But if I'm saying anything positive, no one wants to hear that. If I'm actually, like, I remember the one way I actually was able to get views off of it is when I was talking about Kelly Thompson's run and it was where she was fighting Rogue again for the first time in a long time, and everyone was hoping that I would talk about how, yeah, Rogue shit on Captain Marvel. Boom. Get the fuck out of here. No, I was like, no, they got over their bullshit and they're friends now. And I like this.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, boo, boo.
How
yeah,
dare they be adults and evolve? What's wrong with that?
Rogue already fucked her up. She needs to come back and do it again. You know,
right. It's like, oh my God.
They're both
I hate
heroes
it here.
now. What the hell?
Yeah, the thing is, the dumbest superhero trope ever is when two superheroes fight each other. Like, that is a sacred cow of superhero comics. I would gladly slaughter myself. I would gladly cut the throat of that sacred cow myself if I could and make it stick.
When it's done, I mean, I kind of agree. But like, there are ways that, like, narratively, you can create a situation where it makes some sense and you get that emotional impact of the kind of the heart wrenching shit, right? But like, for the most part, just like they used to do it back in the day, especially just like, oh, the Hulk meets this guy for the first time and they're gonna fight, and you know what I mean? Oh, then we figure out that we're on the same side. That shit's played out.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, I enjoy the dynamic between Steve Rogers and Tony Stark in the first Civil War.
Yeah,
I think they actually handled that really well. But yeah, in general, it's what Dane just described. Oh, two people bump into each other. Let's fight. Oh, we're friends now. Yeah, that's a bit much.
Or it's stupid and it's overused.
Or like
Civil War is good. That's a good example.
Oh, yes.
Item number one. You got Avery, who goes into a club, right? I don't know if you've read this or not, but
I've had the displeasure.
Yeah, so he goes into that club, he gets his ass kicked. Which is a great way to introduce your character, by the way, is just have him getting his ass kicked throughout the first issue. Then he gets thrown into the sky, and he happens to collide with this chick that's flying by. Just like, man, that is fucking great writing right there. They
is that the character that's supposed to be by the Soska sisters or whoever the hell?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure. Yes.
Look at this.
Awesome.
Look at this. What up, DJ?
Hey.
Hello. I wasn't sure if I was invited to the party or not. I thought I'd like sneak in. If I was crashing the party, I'd sneak back.
Wait,
out
is DJ here? Huh? What?
So, no, it's not. I'm not here at all.
Oh, okay, cool.
I saw we were trying to save the comic book industry, so I thought I would jump in and.
Yeah, we're trying to figure that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay. We're onto something. No, I have an article that I from the Beat, I believe it is, that's came out like yesterday or something, and it's very fucking good. It actually kind of addresses. I don't know. It's been nice to see a couple of write-ups in the last couple of weeks that put context to this bullshit that's been getting spun. And the Beat is one of them. Comics Beat. It's been doing it. So
was it?
I like that.
Was it bounding into comics? They weren't doing anything positive for comic books. So just Cosmic Book News.
They have become more milk.
We got this covered. I mean, there's so many great ones out there.
Look, I have to think that we played a role in getting them to stop being so fucking mask off, piece of shit, fascist, dude. Like, it wasn't long after we called them out. That's all I'm saying.
I can't take anything they say seriously. Like,
you shouldn't.
Yeah,
I just can't. No, well, you know what it is? It's like, how like on your phone you can pull up it'll try like, or Google or whatever, try and like pull up like an aggregate of like news it thinks you want to see. And like, whenever I look at it, like every once in a while, bounding into comic stuff would show up, and like I wouldn't necessarily see that it was them at first, and then I would click on it and would go to the site and I'd be like, oh, this isn't news.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't news at all. Or just like, yeah,
the last thing that like the what was it, John Trent, the one that was writing all the articles, like the last big thing he did before they got sold, I suppose, or when the paperwork got signed, was they said that comic books were causing a problem for people in the world. Like, they were a problem. And I'm like, isn't your entire website dedicated to superheroes?
Yeah, like it was about a month ago whenever I saw that they had a video where they said Martin Scorsese says that superhero movies are bad for culture. We agree. And it's like, what's the fuck kind of, what website are you, man?
Who the fuck are you?
Well,
I could not imagine. Hi, my name's Blur Without Fear. Welcome back to the channel. Now, let me tell you what I think. I know this is a comic book YouTube channel, but you know what the real problem in the world is? Comic books.
Yeah.
Get the fuck Oh my god! I can't. Look. I feel like I wind up quoting Succession way more than I should. You are not serious people. Bounding into comics, you are not serious people.
Well, I mean, I would say that they are serious, just not in the way that they that you might think. 'Cause we've done a deep dive into them or two, and like essentially they're posting shit that has like, you know, some Catholic bishop that talking about how trans women are demons and shit like that up in the article, and the headline will be like something like, you know, Last of Us says something about, I don't know, they basically, anytime there's any kind of anything about a trans person, they talk about genital mutilation, like you're mutilating kids' genitals and shit like that. That's how they were talking about it. And then I'm serious. They that's what we're talking about though, that they cleaned it up recently because they got sold and they started going back and changing some of their old headlines and shit to be less fucking just like, damn.
And no more quotes from like pastors and priests and stuff like that. They're not doing that anymore.
Archbishop Michael Burbage was their go-to. Half of all their articles ended with Michael Burbage.
It'd be like an article about something going on in comics, and they go, "Here's what Archbishop Burbage said." And it's like, who the fuck is about what Archbishop Burbage said? No, they're straight up. We call them rounding into Christian fascism, man, because it's just straight up what it was.
It reminds me. I can't remember the name of this guy. Who was the politician that was like calling LGBTQ people, like he was comparing them to mutants in the X-Men, which I thought was funny because at first I was like, oh, okay, this dude's about to cook. Hold on, let him cook.
Oh no,
I was
don't
like,
cook that.
Yeah, let's see where I was like, let's see where he goes. Like just like, you know, like the memes they do around Thanksgiving where like they show black people like watching white people cook food, and it's like, okay, well, no, wait, let's see what they do. Oh shit, they're putting raisins in it. Hold on. Yeah. And that was kind of how I felt about that, because I was like, oh wait, he's like, I want to compare them to, you know, the X-Men comics and
it's Webster Barnaby. That's the
thank you.
Name. Yeah, Webster Barnaby.
Yes, because I was like, you know, the X-Men have become an allegory for marginalized communities, not just like black and brown people, but like the LGBTQIA plus community. I was like, okay, let's see where he's going. And then he was like, you're demons.
Yeah,
you are imps. I was like, I don't think he actually read those comics.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
and he's from Florida. No big surprise.
Yeah, he's from DeSantis. He's from DeSantis land. So yeah, of course. But no, I was like, dude, I was like, okay, yeah, like because normally under normal circumstances, when you compare a marginalized group of people to the X-Men, conventional wisdom would tell you this person is about to make the right analogy that these are allegories for people who are downtrodden and treated differently because they are different than everyone else. I was like, okay, cool, this is where this guy's going. But then he's like, no, y'all are villains and monsters and demons, and I rebuke you. And I'm like, so you read the X-Men comics and you identify with William Stryker,
right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
There's a reason there's the right is literal villains in X-Men lore. You know, they're called the right.
And, I was like,
I mean, Matt Walsh just did a whole video talking about how Disney villains were right. I mean, there's a whole video he made where he was like saying, like, he even talked about not surprisingly, that Pocahontas, that the villains in the Pocahontas movie were right. They were.
Well, and then there's freaking Eric July, as a matter of fact. This guy keeps coming up, but like he literally was full throat endorsing this Argentinian fascist that just got elected, dude.
Malay.
Like, yeah,
what?
Oh, that guy. Fuck.
So the guy that just got elected in Argentina already cracked down on civil liberties and shit as soon as he got in office. Eric is just he's a real libertarian.
Eric July's libertarian, and the libertarians are famously against civil liberties, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, someone tried to convince me, because I think it was when all that kerfluffle or whatever was going on with him, and like was it like 2 or 3 weeks ago or something like that? I feel like time is irrelevant to me now at this point, but like I remember like someone tried to say, I remember what it was. I had said something about him being awfully comfortable in the company of Nazis or something along those lines. I don't remember. I've slipped since then. And then someone said that he was more of a Nazi, or no, someone said that I was more of a Nazi than he was. And I was like, well, for one, I didn't call him a Nazi. I mean, I think that word gets thrown around a little bit too often. But I was like, I do feel he's quite comfortable in their presence, and they are comfortable in his. And he was like, well, if you actually knew anything about him, he's an anarchist. And I was like, huh? I mean, I thought he was a libertarian, but I guess, is libertarianism considered anarchy now? I mean, maybe I'm out of touch on what actual libertarianism is.
Well,
I just always thought it was diet Republican.
There's anarchy.
Same terrible taste, less feeling.
Anarchism
something.
is confused with anarchy a lot. Anarchism is actually kind of just a lack of overall governance and stuff. And then, yeah, that's pretty much what libertarians are. Libertarian used to be more of a leftist ideology, but it's kind of been co-opted by the right, like they tend to do with things. Yeah,
kind of like how Nazis co-opted Japanese symbols for Buddhism.
Yep. Exactly like that. kind of like how the Punisher is supposed to have been a story about like the problems with the system, the broken system and stuff, and now he's literally just a fascist symbol. Yeah.
I've literally seen people argue with Jerry Conway about that.
So dumb.
Like you're out of touch, Jerry. You don't know. Yeah, the guy who literally is responsible for the Punisher has no fucking clue.
Jerry Conway watched my Punisher videos and said they were great. So, I'll just say that.
Dude, Jerry, first off, can I just say, Jerry Conway, good, fine individual. I don't, I feel that, the world will be darker for not having him.
True.
Because I know he had a bit of a health scare not long ago. And I was like, yeah, dude, no, this guy's great. He's fantastic. He's like what I wish all old people were like. Like, you know what?
Instead of just how Alice Cooper recently or something came out and he's like anti-trans and shit like that. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. Shit like that's crazy to me. The guy who literally made a career off of like half-ass dressing like a woman.
Doesn't make any sense.
Really?
No, Alice Cooper's always kind of confused me because like he's got some good songs in my opinion, but his political takes are pretty fucking bad.
To be fair, I used to work for Spencer Gifts, and he came in one time when he had a show in Memphis, at a casino or something. And I remember seeing him, and he looked like a full on MAGA didn't exist then because this was this was in 2002, 2005 or something like that. And yeah, looking back on that moment, Alice Cooper literally the only thing he was missing was the red hat, the red MAGA hat. He was basically, he walked in, he looked like a King of the Hill character. So now I'm not surprised. He looked like the guy that literally drives the tractor everywhere.
Well, I mean, also Fred Durst is also MAGA now, apparently. So
oh yeah, dude. You know what fucked me up? What made me feel some type of way? I used to really be a big fan of All That Remains. And then one day I was watching somebody watch a clip of Tim Pool because they were shitting on him. I think it was the Surfs. And I saw the lead singer of All That Remains on Tim Pool's show, just being a full-throated, just white supremacist piece of shit. And I was like, bruh, you have made me rethink every fucking song I have ever sang the lyrics to that you have fucking sung. I'm just like, dude, I don't want to know anymore about any of the people. I don't want to know anymore because now I'm just like, you know what? You're all terrible. You're all terrible. And you should feel terrible.
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate learning that the people I like are pieces of shit.
I feel like Facebook kind of started all this where you learn stuff about people in your life where you just didn't want to know. I didn't want to know before, you know what I mean? I would have been better off if people just wouldn't have said that stuff in public. I mean,
yeah,
I guess it's good that we know because now we can act accordingly and it does help, I guess, society as a whole. But in a vacuum, those things, I'm like, I didn't want to know that about this person.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. I don't want to know that. I'm not gonna lie, man. It would break my heart. I'm not bullshitting here. It would fucking destroy me. Oh yeah, no, fuck Kiss. Gene. Was it Gene Simmons especially? But it would break my heart if one day I looked up and found out that Mastodon were whole ass white supremacists. They might be. I don't know. I don't want to know. because I really like their music. Like if I discovered one day that like they're like, oh man, like if I found out one day Gunship is like just whole ass Nazis or like whole ass transphobes, it would break my fucking heart. It would kill me. It would literally kill me.
I get this impulse to be like, man, I wish we could go back to when we didn't, but like at the same time, like you know, you were just saying, it's we can operate in a way that's more protective of ourselves and our loved ones and of our fucking democracy. You know what I mean? Now that we know what a surprisingly large chunk of the country is about, you know.
Look, I can only use the "you were the chosen one" meme so many times. Like I can only use it so many times. Eventually, it just loses its meaning.
I actually saw a clip years ago of Kanye West talking about how he was turned or made to feel homophobia by being made fun of you know, people insinuating that he was gay when he was a kid. And I thought about it and I'm like, God, that makes so much sense to me, especially like in the hip hop community where people, you know, they basically questioning masculinity by calling them like queer or an F slur or whatever they say about them. And that imprints, and then they realize, hey, that's not a good thing, because if they're making fun of me for that, then that means that being gay
something bad
is wrong. Yeah. And then that imprints on them, and they grow up to be homophobic. And you know, Kanye said a lot of problematic stuff, but I like the college Kanye, like that era of Kanye, like, you know, where he talked about this, and it made sense to me. And I'm like, that explains a lot of what we deal with now. Is that saying stuff was gay, sort of as a pejorative, in jest, started out as something that people just kind of let slide, and then it's grown into like we have a whole generation of people that took that as, oh, gay meaning bad, as in like, you know, what you're doing is really gay. All of a sudden now that's imprinting on homophobia that's being enacted on actual gay people, and it all sort of clicked for me in that moment. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense to me.
It breaks my heart because I literally was listening to like some old hip hop that like I used to really love. And the times where I go back and I'm reminded, like just a random like F slur comes out.
Yeah.
Or
Eminem,
like yeah, dude, and even some of the rappers that like were more socially conscious, like even a lot of them did it. It breaks my fucking heart because like I was literally like, you're doing that thing that all proud dads do when you want to try and get your kid up on some of the the stuff that was hot when you were coming up. And I literally was listening to one of my favorite artists, Jean Grey, oddly enough. Like she literally just dropped the F slur like just out of nowhere in a song. Granted, it was one of her older ones, but like I was just like when it happened, and I don't know what this says about me as a human being, but like when it happened, like it was kind of like when someone like shocks you. Like if someone like touches you and like you feel that I was like, oh, whoa.
Yeah. Once you understand the freaking harm that comes along with stuff like that, man. Like once you really fully internalize that shit, it's like there's a reaction to it for a reason, and that's what these people don't understand because they've never actually tried to empathize with the pain that shit like that has caused. And the people that say it, the people that just are cool with it or think that it's fun to trigger people by saying it or whatever.
Like don't get me wrong. I'm not even going to sit here and pretend that I'm like some paragon of virtue. When I was like in my like late teens, early 20s.
Absolutely. Yeah, me too.
I used to be that dude. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and say I wasn't. I get if Twitter was a thing, someone would have a tweet like screenshots of me saying that shit. Like, but like as I got older, like, and I say older, like by the time I got like into like my mid 20s and realized that was not an okay thing to do, I stopped doing it. And it wasn't like I only do it behind closed doors. It was like, no, I don't do it at all.
Right.
Like I rarely, if ever, say the damn N-word, and I'm black. I have a right to it. I rarely, if ever, say it. I usually say it like in moments where I slip up. I'm just like, or someone says something just so crazy. I'm just like.
So when some white person's like, I'll still say it whenever I'm listening to hip hop or whatever. I'll still say that. I'm like, no. Even then, I've made it a game for myself where I go fella instead. Yeah, and it makes me laugh for one thing because you're. I say playa, brother. Whatever. I have so many other words that are way more fun. There's a lot of words.
Well,
there's so many words. Don't get me wrong. When there's like some I don't even like policing people over that stuff, but it's just like, look, I believe in free speech, but I also believe in there being consequences for things that you say and do. But like, if I were on this, like right now, if I just all of a sudden said, you know what, I'm going to say the F slur, I am free to say it. But I'm also free for everyone in this panel and anyone in the chat, the comments, to call me out as being a homophobe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's
I would not say that, well, you're not allowed to call me that.
I always say that when they cry cancel culture, man, it's like, okay, no, there's not a cancel culture. There's there's social consequences for saying shit, just like there always has been. The only difference now is that everybody's hearing and seeing what you're saying, like, and everybody's connected to it. That's like, but you would have gotten shunned by certain communities for saying certain things 100 years ago.
Yeah,
it's no different.
I mean, and there's the subtle shit, like when Dane and I did a whole deep dive into Chuck Dixon and his history with comics.
Oh God.
And how like homophobia and misogyny and fear of anything sexual at all with adult characters sort of, it was a weird deep dive. It was a Reddit post that somebody had compiled, and they did such a fantastic job of putting it all together. But you just see how like people in the industry, comics, because we're talking about hip hop, but even in comics, how people get involved in it, and there's all of these like microaggressive things that they do when making comic books that they want to call other people out on. Like Gail Simone gets called out all the time by these guys, about stuff that she's done and things she's done. And she's not the only person involved in comics that has been said, self-inserts and writing stories about yourself and blah, blah, blah. But then you look at someone like Chuck Dixon, who is now writing for Ripa. When he was writing characters, all of that was done with him injecting his own beliefs into those stories.
What what I didn't know from
who's the Fables guy? I don't remember the name of the Fables guy.
Brian K. Vaughan? No, sorry, not Brian. That's my wrong one.
It's I don't remember the fucker's name, but like
I forget.
He does the same shit.
Yeah.
His beliefs are in his comics. Like, I don't. Okay, here's something I really feel like just needs to be done away with. Yes, him. Yes, that motherfucker. People need to stop using self-inserts as a as like some kind of a criticism. Because here's the thing.
Yes.
Everybody fucking does it.
No.
Here's what I was saying.
Rippa does it.
Rippa absolutely does it. He absolutely does it. You can tell when how the character Isom, toward the end of the first issue, he's like, I don't even care about the girl that I'm supposed to save. Now I'm just mad because they disrespected me. And it's like, okay, you can tell me that's not a self-insert right there.
Dude, oh my God. Some of the greatest story arcs, some of the greatest tales ever told. And I'm not even just talking about comics. I'm talking about just media in general. Are self-inserts. Maybe not 100% all the time. Like, okay, case in point. The main character of the comic I'm writing, he is not me. Like, he doesn't look like me. And he doesn't even really act like I normally would. However, there are elements of his character that are me. Like, he's not a one-to-one translation of me, but certain things that I would say myself personally are things he would say. His responses or reactions to certain things might be how I would respond or react to something. Anyone who tells you, any writer who tells you they don't insert themselves into their stories in some way, even if it's on a small, like a nut hair amount, you're lying to yourself.
You know what it is? It's another one of those
Hasta la vista.
Nuance and context.
I love it. I love that. I absolutely love that.
I was just talking about it yesterday with somebody about how self-insert, in fact, that like if somebody says, oh, that's blah blah blah, whatever the thing is, the alleged criticism, always ask yourself, is this making a value judgment or is this just describing something? You know what I mean? So like, self-insert is just describing a thing, a way that people can write, right? It's not saying whether it's good or bad, but the assumption is always it's a bad thing. It's not making a value judgment though. So.
I'm just glad we got away from Mary Sue. Like, I feel like Mary Sue was a very overused one. I guess maybe people still say it. I don't hear it said as much anymore. They do. Oh, okay, never mind. I lied.
Marvel just came out. They're blasting it again.
The Mary Sues. Well, the thing is, every character is a Mary Sue.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, the hero character is always like the best one. They're like the most good for the. It's how you write a story.
Yeah, and like, dude, has no one ever seen a movie?
Right.
They just didn't. They never saw one with their kind of algorithmic indoctrination until
Luke Skywalker's a Mary Sue.
Yep.
Hell, Han Solo is a Mary Sue.
They put more effort into Rey to making her reasons why she's good at shit make more sense than Luke.
I've always said this, that when we're talking about marginalized characters, they have to write everything twice as hard as they do with any other like white dude character, because what's going to happen is they're going to get nitpicked. So you're writing that character in your mind. You're like, I have to make sure that I show them overcoming something 3 or 4 times, because if not, they'll be called like a Mary Sue or whatever.
Because even still, you got Rey, who's been defending herself since she was a little kid on this hostile planet, knows how to fight and stuff, but then she gets a lightsaber and they're like, how does she know how to use a lightsaber and fight?
She already had a stick.
She's been fighting for a while now.
Well, I'll throw you one better. A recent addition to the Marvel Comics canon was with Miles Morales. Yeah, one of Peter Parker's most harrowing events is Maximum Carnage, where he literally had to throw down with Carnage. Carnage was such a big deal, he needed the help of almost every other character in the Marvel Comics universe to do it. So when Miles went up against Carnage for the first time, it wasn't like, oh man, we're going to have to do, we're either going to have to make him have more help, which is just going to make him look weak, or we're going to have to make him go against Carnage with less help, which will actually, that's the only way that's going to be able to sell the story, but also not like, well, you know what? Here's the thing. New phrase, isoming. We're not going to isom the damn character by making him look like trash in his first outing. Here we go. That's trademark now. Can I trademark that? Could I do that? What is that called? Would that be?
You have to talk to Good Shepherd Ministries, I think, is the thing.
You know what? I think I'm just going to let it be free range. But no, you're isoming the character if you if we put Miles in a situation where he has to have twice the help that Peter Parker did. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, you have to raise the stakes. And honestly, even that in of itself is an allegory for how marginalized people are treated in real life anyway. Women have to try twice as hard as men.
Yep.
Women and men of color have to try twice as hard as a white woman has to do versus a white man. So I mean, it's not even just the fact that like, you have to up the stakes just to maintain the structure, but I mean, it's just real life in and of itself. And I feel like people using the term Mary Sue or self-insert, you're minimizing the fact that a person, it doesn't matter. So what if they do self-insert? Is the story good?
Right.
Because that's what I care about. You can self-insert all you want. I care about, is the story good?
Yeah, and speaking of Star Wars and self-insert, I wonder if Luke was a self-insert for anybody. You know what I mean? Luke.
I mean, a certain guy who may have owned the property up until,
he was a self-insert for John Williams. The lightsaber.
There you go.
I see. So I thought that's the point you were making, man. And like, generally I'm not opposed to it on principle, but like it really depends on what the person's politics are about. Like if there's somebody who I believe they are contributing fucking real harm to people, in the community, then it's like, yeah, man, fuck off. If they're, if it's just somebody who's had problematic takes in the past, but they've like stopped that or grown or whatever, expressed, like, okay, that's fine. That's all we can do is grow and be better. But yeah, it's not just it's the kind of thing that I don't believe there's I don't know, it gets thrown around like, oh, you can't separate the art from the artist. It's like, I can, man. It's all it's contextual. It all depends on the situation.
There's a There's a YouTuber I recently discovered, who I think is maybe about the same size as myself, but yeah, she does like video essays. Woman by the name of Hoots.
Yeah,
and
I've seen her.
She did a video like called Your Favorite is Problematic.
The Dirtbag Left video? Is that it?
Yeah, I think so. Or yeah, there was that one, but like this was another one she did where she had like other people come on and they talked about something they liked that was problematic and why they still like it, but with an asterisk. Like, yeah, or whatever. And I was like, dude, you know what? I said, honestly, I while some of the people's favorites, I was like, oh, that's a bridge too far for me. But I was like, I understood the sentiment of what was trying to be put across, that like, you probably do like something. Whether you know it or not, that's problematic. And if you know it's problematic, you how do you engage with it? Like, I will be the first one to say, well, I do not actively support, piracy, sailing the seven seas. I will say there are ways for you to enjoy things without giving people your money. Do with that information what you will. I love Rurouni Kenshin, but the creator is a whole pedophile.
Ooh.
I have not bought a single volume of Rurouni Kenshin.
So we've got 80 people watching right now. And by the way, thanks for being here, man. You subscribe if you're not. But like, so this is a post that I feel kind of just reveals like Ethan Van Sciver and Comicsgate for what they're about, right? So the other day, Ethan posted this panel, gay Superman is getting married to his pink-haired gay wad twink. Surprise, DC did it again. Wow, man, that's crazy. But the thing is that it's that fucking classic gag of like, oh, you're proposing? Oh no!
But it's a flight ring. It's a JSA flight ring.
It's a sitcom fucking moment, dude. And he knowingly, intentionally, obviously cut those panels out
or JLA
to make that point to his fucking audience. That encapsulates him and Comicsgate, in my opinion. This is how they fucking grift people. They don't give them context, and they even remove context.
That's the Mighty Thor thing. Because I remember when Jason Aaron was doing Mighty Thor. Or it maybe just been the it wasn't Mighty Thor yet, it was just Thor at that point. But when Jane Foster was had the hammer and was Thor, and there was some panel that everyone kept going around saying, see, she hates men. But then like if you would have just looked at the next panel, you would have realized that she said what she said in response to something that a man said to her.
Well, and then also with this, it's like there's also the preconceived assumption that like that would be a bad thing if it happened anyway. When,
right.
But that's neither here nor there because it didn't fucking happen. And it's just they do it all the time, man. It's like my channel was originally called Actual Context for this very reason, because every single time that they're like grifting on some point, it's because
this is no surprise from EVS. The interactions I've had with him recently, it's all like projection and made up stuff. Like we were talking about the Marvels, and he started talking about black bald lesbians or something like that, and I'm like, well, that's not even in the movie. What are you talking about? It's just
what?
He's ridiculous. Yeah. So I was on another stream, and so we were talking about the Marvels, and that's why I was on the stream in the first place. And so he jumps in and he starts talking about Stan Lee's rule about how many women should be in a project with men, and I pushed back on that a little bit, and I'm like, well, Stan Lee's not Jesus. He's a great creator, but he doesn't speak for every single person that's ever read or made comic books or anything like that. But then we start talking about the Marvels, and he's like, well, it's always something weird with like these bald black lesbians who, want to fight people and stuff like that, or something along those lines. And I was like, what movie are you talking about? What Marvel movie is that where the lead characters are black bald lesbians that fight people? I don't know what movie that is.
The closest you get is Wakanda Forever, and those characters are not even the main characters.
But here's the funny thing about that. That was what was brought up. It was Tony. It was Geek Getaway. So he brought that up. He said the only movie he could be talking about is Wakanda Forever, right? Here's the gag. We were talking about the sales of movies. And I said, well, Ethan, you can't be talking about that movie because it made a bunch of money. So we're not talking about that movie failing. If you're saying that's why movies are failing, like the Marvels or whatever, and then you use an example of a movie that made almost $900 million, then we're not having the same conversation. But he never answered my question. But this is the kind of stuff that he does. This is the kind of things that he says. And so it doesn't surprise me that he's misrepresenting a panel in a comic book, because Comicsgate is predicated on the fact that men are victims. So everything has to be a victim narrative for them. That's the only way those comic books are sold, is that the industry itself is against these guys. So they can't ever concede that something does well without some sort of asterisk on it. Anyway, so it doesn't really surprise me.
To answer Chris Bacon, he's a content creator. He's a streamer.
Yes,
he makes videos. He does a little bit of both, and he does it well. Like, honestly, it's frustrating how good you are, and like in every single video, you got this energy, man. I told you this the first time you came on. I was like, I just want to fucking crack like 1/4 of that energy that you.
Yeah. Thank you. Honestly, I'd be a liar if I said there weren't some days where I don't feel it.
Yeah, sure.
But like, I'm not gonna lie. Once I start, like once the video, like once I hit record and it's like, all right, intro. It's like, there it is. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, there it is. I feel it now. It's like it just takes some. Sometimes it does take them. I'm not gonna pretend I'm a happy guy all the time. I have mental health just like everybody else. I deal with imposter syndrome and all that shit. Just no differently or better or worse than anyone else.
The best often do, man. The best often.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I will say though, thank you, by the way. I will say that in the interactions I have had with EVS, they are limited, mind you. They are very limited. I have discovered just based on kind of seeing how he interacts with other people and how he oftentimes likes to start shit. And not just him. I'll throw in Nerdrotic, because I had was it Nerdrotic? No, it was not Nerdrotic. It was Yellow Flash. They all run together.
Nerdrotic doesn't reply to anything.
Yeah, he doesn't. Nerdrotic doesn't get into it. We wish he would, but he doesn't get into the shit.
Yeah, no, he doesn't give a shit. And honestly, I wish more creators on his side were like that, because I'm like this. You don't have to respond.
Right.
See,
you don't owe anyone an explanation or I mean, it's not cool that you do.
Not to give away our game or anything, but like I feel like we like to kind of get these guys to respond, because the more they respond, the more they give themselves away. And,
100%, 100%. But like, I'm always just like, dude, you could just like it's because they complain about it. They complain about having to respond, and they complain about the hate they get. But it's like.
And on the polar opposite side of Nerdrotic is Eric July, who responds to almost everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Everything. Oh no, he does. Whether it's through his sock puppet account or if it's through his own primary account. But my whole beef with the whole situation is just simply the fact that, look, disingenuousness is, to me, just it's lazy. Like. I want to make sure if I'm going to say something, I want to make sure there is context. There is context. I'm not going to show only a part of the panel just to run. Because I'll tell you right now, honestly, this just shows you how stupid the people were that read that tweet, saw that picture, and got angry. Here's the thing. I looked at that ring, had not read that issue, by the way, but saw that ring. And the first thing that crossed my mind was, just based on the fact that I knew what was going on in like some of the more recent stuff, that I was like, oh, it's probably like a fucking Legion flight or some shit.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I was like, first off, no diamonds. I know for a fact John Kent has the same damn powers as Clark. If Clark can take a piece of coal and squeeze that sumbitch until it turns into a fat rock, John can do the same thing. He is not going to send that boy out here looking unfabulous. First off, fuck the homophobia. I would clown John Kent for handing him that ring if it was an actual wedding ring and it didn't have at least 4 or 5 fat rocks on it. Because I'd be like, first off, Jay, you need to go find a better man. You need a better Superman is what you need. That's what I would say. I'm not even fucking gay. I'm not gay at all. I am a bog standard cis male guy and all that entails, straight as the days are long. However, I also want nice things for nice people.
Yeah.
And Jay deserves a nice ring. So no, there is no way on hell anyone in their right damn mind would look at that ring and say, oh, that's a wedding ring.
Yep.
Sorry, I couldn't do it.
So let's see, what was it that somebody said? Yeah, the just some guy thing. So we responded to him. He actually covered us out of the blue one day. And you know, he was really, really disingenuous and fucking just honestly stupid with his attempt.
Was it Miles Morales related?
No, it was so we had done a video, it was like a stream clip where we'd done a segment where I kind of just got everybody to define anti-fan and fan and anti-fan, right? So like, how do we see what a fan versus an anti-fan is? And we all kind of gave our, you know, definitions. And he starts off and he's like saying, oh, yeah, you should explain it because you're dog whistling. We're like, what? What the fuck? Like, and you know, literally, in the video that we uploaded, I put up on the screen the definition of dog whistling and like him saying that. It's like, what the fuck are you even talking about? And then he's saying that we're not explaining what we mean. Then we start explaining it, and I get to me explaining my definition. I get about 5 words into the sentence, and he's like, okay, come on, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that, you know, like telling me to, you know, you're talking too long, basically. It's like, all right, man. But no, he did. Speaking of Captain Marvel, he did do you remember? When I don't remember what the guy was, whatever guy that had basically made her have to fight all the Avengers a couple of years ago, right?
Oh yeah, no, I remember that. Yeah, that was like when she was in the dark Captain Marvel suit.
And the way it was marketed was like she's gone bad, you know what I mean? But really, like you read it and you realize pretty quickly, it explains that she had basically come up with a plan to get around this dude, and I think she went to T'Challa to have him working in the background while she had to like go and fight all these Avengers. And you know, even though they knew that everybody knew what was going on, she wasn't really a villain. She just had to play this game long enough to get to a point where she could defeat the guy. You know what I mean? And then, so just some guys making videos about how lost she's finally gone evil and stuff like that. And you know, they don't ever say that that was just part of the plot.
It's like, you didn't read this.
No, didn't read it.
You didn't read this at all. Like, and honestly, that's what gives the game away for me a lot of the times. Is it's like, what was it, when people were upset, this was a while ago, and I don't think it lasted long, but people got upset back when the Michael Bay stuff was going on. The Michael Bay turtle stuff was kind of first popping off. Yeah, more than just with the turtles themselves, but like, I remember people got really mad when Tyler Perry got cast as Baxter Stockman.
Yeah, I remember that. That was funny.
It was funny. It was really hilarious to me because, being an old head, I had read the old black and white Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I thought it was funny because people were like, "Oh, look at them! They're blackwashing! They're blackwashing Baxter Stockman!" And I was like, "Well, they're only putting back what originally was. Baxter Stockman was black in the original Ninja Turtles comics. He was made white for the TV, the cartoon that everybody loves, which I love too, but like." I just thought it was funny because, it's like, they're always like, see, they always have to change everything. They always have to make stuff different. This is how you tell me you don't know shit.
Yep. Well,
and I love to see it.
When they go to bat for some character that, like, nobody gave a shit about. Like, recently with the Nightcrawler Mystique Destiny thing, right? Beautiful fucking retcon. Very well done. Long time in the making. You know what I mean? Is excellent shit. But then you got people suddenly like, Azazel's being done wrong and shit. It's like,
he's literally a demon.
Yeah. Azazel's my all-time favorite character, I swear.
Who is, like, really, who is out here, like, unironically putting on the cape for him?
Red Nightcrawler.
Wait,
He
what's
was a
better?
villain in X-Men First Class. It was great.
Yeah. Well, and by the way, a throwaway villain who literally didn't even say like what, but two things. Look, can we be serious people here for a moment and just recognize the fact that people are really out here thinking that demon absentee father better.
He literally in recent comics he like murdered one of his kids or something. You know?
Yeah,
what I mean? Like,
he did. broke his fucking neck unceremoniously. So absentee father demon better than gay moms.
Mm-hmm.
And like here's the thing. We have watched Mystique turn into men.
Right. I was gonna say
so many times.
They're
Not
like,
just
oh,
in
well,
the
the
comics.
difference is she can't actually make sperm. That's what they're saying now. It's like she's still a whole ass dude. Like, are you kidding me?
She can.
She's a
Well,
whole
I
ass
mean,
dude.
if she turns into a dude, if she turns into a man, and I think they even actually explain it in the issue that she borrowed some DNA.
Yep. Well, I mean, she basically rewrites her genetics. Basically, is what we find out. They kind of defined it more, you know. But I mean, it makes sense because she changes clothes when she shapeshifts. So of course she can change.
She hides bazookas in her body and can still function. Like I think people like. Here's the thing. You know what? You know the thing that I actually had a harder time wrapping my skull around was the fact that the woman literally hid a whole ass bazooka. You know how big bazookas are? You realize how big a bazooka is? She had a whole ass bazooka. But mind you, bazookas, they are made out of metal. In her body, inside of herself. That's metal poisoning. Like we literally have stories about Wolverine that his healing factor is actually what keeps him from getting adamantium poisoning because of all the adamantium in his body. I was literally like honestly, I spent more time like roping all that up and like squaring that circle in my head than trying to compartmentalize a woman turning into a dude.
Yeah.
And then siring a child like that. Like I literally spent like my brain power spent more time thinking about the logistics of hiding a bazooka. Like,
I mean, it's like Marge Simpson in her hair, though. You know what I mean? Like
but I also think it's really funny to me that the arguments that people are having, like in denial of this new backstory for Nightcrawler. They're arguing about the powers of characters that are already doing unbelievable things. So, like, we're talking about characters that can do almost any. If a comic book writer wants them to do it, like if they wanted to make Mystique the new avatar for the Phoenix Force, they could do that. They could do whatever they want, right? Anything
everybody else has been, so why not?
So, So the point is that if a writer decides that this character now does something that gives them the ability to achieve this goal, then that is canon at that point. That is the way it is. And I think people are arguing like. Going back, what was it like 30 years ago? Well, back then she couldn't do this. Well, there's a lot of things back then that characters couldn't do that they can do now. We're talking
because
about,
lack of imagination, being stretched that far.
50 years ago, Wolverine didn't have hairy arms and shit. So you know what I mean? Like, and now they retcon that to say that he was wearing flesh-colored sleeves.
Yeah,
that's true.
No, I remember that. Well, and also we got to remember Wolverine when he was originally incepted into the Marvel Comics universe. Was very different than the Wolverine that we know him as today.
Which it's interesting how stories get fleshed out over years.
Shameless promo here. In case somebody's missed it, 2024, we're going to be talking about Wolverine a lot throughout the year. It's the year of the bub. You know, he's got a lot of products coming out. Got
Deadpool,
X-Men relaunches. We got Deadpool 3. We got the video game, presumably, maybe not anymore after that leak. Who knows?
X-Men
but like
97.
X-Men 97.
Yeah.
It's a big year for Wolverine. It's his 50th fucking anniversary year, man. And he's my favorite superhero. And I haven't really talked about him much at all on my channel. So I'm going to be doing, pretty, several videos throughout.
You're going to be going hard on Wolverine.
Be going hard on Wolverine for sure. In fact, every Sunday on the Fatcast, I'm going to be going year by year. So each week will be like the year of what happened in this year of Wolverine, both in lore and publication history. And it's going to be fun. So.
Oh, you know what? I also just thought about something. Are you going to do anything for the new arc that's coming up this year too? Because since it is the 50th anniversary of Wolverine, it's also like they're doing the birthday thing.
The Sabretooth War,
with him
right?
and Sabretooth again. Yeah, like the next like Wolverine issues that are going to be coming up are going to be like that whole like yeah, I actually went back and looked because like I was like, man, yeah, they had a long tradition of this because I was like going to do something for like Wolverine coming up here just to talk about the upcoming story arc. And I was like going back and looking, I was like, man, they actually had more interactions on his birthday than I actually remembered.
That was Sabretooth. That was Sabretooth's thing. He didn't even know when his birthday was for a long time, and the Sabretooth would show up. It's your birthday, fucking fight to live, motherfucker. And
he's like, I'm the only one that gets to kill you. He's like, I'm the only one that gets to kill you. That's an awesome thing.
Percy's been doing great. And you notice they have kept them away throughout the entirety of Krakoa. And they have not fucking interacted. Him and Sabretooth interact with anybody for quite a while, but so that they've been saving it, and I'm hyped.
Also, can I just say Sabretooth had the wokest book. Like, and I don't mean that as a negative either, but I just thought it was so funny because I was like, bro, when Marvel solicited the Sabretooth and then the Sabretooth in the Exile series, I was like, oh, okay, this will just be Sabretooth shenanigans, whatever. And I was like, oh shit, this book's dropping some heat. I didn't expect to learn about how like the birth control was invented in a Sabretooth comic. I didn't expect to learn how African slaves were experimented on to test brain surgery and things of that nature. I am learning a lot today in this issue of Sabretooth that is totally not about these things, but is about like a white dude running around with claws and
what's the
stuff.
title that this was in?
This was just so they had two series. They're both by Victor Laval. It is just Sabretooth. It's like 4 or 5 issues, and then he did a follow-up, Sabretooth and the Exiles. And in both series, not every issue, but just about every issue, a social justice issue or like a piece of history is brought up, and it's contextualized, and like the story is kind of wrapped in it. Like they find a way to organically insert a piece of history that people don't talk about into the story. And even sometimes Sabretooth himself, like dropping a little bit of knowledge. Like
I may be a bloody fucking evil murderer, but I wouldn't say that about those people. You know what I mean?
Right. He's like, look, I'm a terrible person. I'm not a monster. Okay.
Don't say that word. All right.
Right. Like, but no, it was cool because like I said it a lot when that series was coming out. I was like, man, I never expected a Sabretooth series to teach me more about Black history than the public school system. I was like, wow, interesting. And I mean like stuff people don't like talking about. I think there was the one where the guy I forget the names of because it's been a while since I've covered this stuff, but like there was a doctor who experimented on Native American women, indigenous women, for different types of surgery and stuff like that. Like stuff like that comes up. Like it's stuff that's just like, hey, this is your history.
Kind of like the Isaiah Bradley thing too, like how that was contextualized, like no, that's not literally what happened, but it does allude to like real things that happen. So
the Tuskegee syphilis experiments, yes.
And if it wasn't for stuff like The Watchmen, I would have never known anything about Black Wall Street. Like that whole story.
Same, dude.
That was something that I felt I was like, wait, how did I not know this? And then I realized they just didn't teach it in school, so we didn't know anything about it.
That sentiment that you just said, that's what motivated me to make the video on it that I did early on in my channel. Still my most seen video was just like, holy shit, I can't fucking believe I didn't know anything about this.
Yeah.
And,
it's a piece of history no one talks about. Like I knew it, I always heard about Black Wall Street, but I never knew where it was. It was like Black Wall Street was always a thing that like I heard like talked about in like passing in the Black community, but like I never heard people mention Tulsa,
right?
Or like specifically. So when it happened in the show, I was like, oh, this is what they're talking about. And same goes, like, I knew about Rosewood, I knew about Wilmington, but I didn't know about, like, but the thing is, it was stuff that, like, they don't teach you that shit in school.
You know, it's funny, when we're talking about this, something just hit me. This is why so many of the white supremacy guys don't want this kind of stuff in comic books, because we're learning about, especially like if you come from outside of certain communities, you learn about the history, what happened to different people, and it shows you like the harsh realities of the world that we live in. And they like the idea of living in the Matrix where there, you know, everything is perfect, you have no issues, everything is whitewashed. So it's all clicking for me now. I mean, I guess I should have picked up this before, but like hearing all of these different stories, I'm like, wait a minute, yeah, I did learn a lot of shit from comic books and comic book media.
I'm telling you, I've talked before in that Watchmen video how, like, I grew up in the deep South, man. My dad used to drop the N-word casually and shit, and like if it wouldn't have been for X-Men and Star Trek The Next Generation, I don't know where the fuck I'd be right now. But like those two things right there were like both of them kind of around 8, 9, 10 years old. I got the message from those, you know what I mean? Where I was like, oh shit, I see what they're saying with, you know, and and it set me on a path.
I just find it funny though, because people like the common complaint you always hear is like, oh, look at they have an agenda. They have an agenda. They're trying to they're trying to preach to me. Here's the thing. The thing that they call preaching is just subtext.
Right.
Yeah.
Like when they do it, it's just text. It's just text. There's no sub anything. Because like I don't know if either of you were unfortunate enough or forced yourself in any way to watch any of these dumb movies that the Daily Wire has been making.
Oh, yeah.
But like, they literally pause the fucking movie. To, like, message. Like, it's literally like Keenan Ivory Wayans and Don't Be a Menace. Like, they literally stop the movie to say, see, everybody? Wokeness is bad.
The thing to take from it is you know, I did a video on this. I actually made that chart a while back, a timeline. I don't know if you guys remember that one, but what they're doing is creating this alternate means of getting entertainment, alternate means of thinking. You know, they got a right-wing version of everything now, and they're wanting to basically, and then while they're building that, they're fucking trying to discredit everything that's more mainstream or not even left, but just like kind of center.
They're stealing it all. They're stealing it from more creative people. All of their ideas come from diverse communities, and they just take it and aggregate it. And you know, it's like the whole thing about the Lady Ballers is it's a bunch of ideas from other people that did it a lot better, and they just tried to make it into their own movie.
Yeah.
Snow White is made out of spite. That Snow White movie that's coming out is made out of spite for Disney. It's not even creative. You know what I mean?
It doesn't even also, you know, I know they judge that. I forget the young lady's name that's actually playing Snow White in the Disney version, but
Rachel Zegler.
Rachel Zegler, thank you.
Oh.
I know that they're mad that a brown girl is playing Snow White, but here's the thing. If they could be mad about that, I could be mad about the Daily Wire making a Snow White movie with an objectively ugly Snow White.
Right.
Like, that girl literally looks like she's Ben Shapiro, like, cloned.
That was a jump scare. When she turns in that trailer, I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah, no, I was like, like, honestly, I thought it was the new A24.
Oh.
I thought it was the new A24 movie. Like, I was like, oh, damn, dude, A24 is out here right now making all kind of wild stuff.
I might have if I didn't literally recognize some of the fucking Adobe stock footage that they were using in the beginning of the trailer. So
the other thing is the Daily Wire is basically a bunch of pundits that were failed writers, failed comedians, failed actors. I mean, these are all people that couldn't make it in Hollywood because they're not talented.
You see
Jeremy Boring.
It's everywhere. It's all of them. Every single fucking Eric July. You're either on with Comicsgate or whatever. You're either somebody who made it to a certain point and then fucked it up for yourself, like Ethan Van Sciver.
EBS,
or you didn't ever fucking have the talent to get there in the first place, but you feel entitled to be there.
Yeah,
that's what it all of them. It's insane how much this is just like driving this whole fucking thing, man. this small-minded
I
spite
also
with
want
like
to go back to the preaching thing that we were talking about a second ago. It just hit me like these are people that call themselves Christians, right? So they value preaching. They go to church every week to hear preaching. So what is the problem with preaching? Oh, it's what's being preached, apparently. That's the problem. The problem isn't that they're being preached to, even though we know it's not preaching, it's basically subtext and dialogue. But they have an issue with the preaching when it isn't like saying the things that they want it to say. Which is what this all boils down to. A lot of the complaints that they have about comic books and the comic book industry is that all the things that are being done are just not being done the way they want it to be. That's all it is. They don't have an issue with the delivery. They have an issue with the message, is what it is.
Yeah, right. Well, I always like to point out Eternals. I remember everyone lost their mind about Eternals because of the gay kiss. And I'm going to tell you right now, that was the lamest, weakest, most milquetoast kiss I have ever seen between two men. I'm sorry, but I was like, we're mad about this?
Between two lovers who might be seeing each other for the last time.
And I mean, they did it in Lightyear, right? With like just this quick, little peck, and they had a baby.
I've told people as a gay person myself, when watching stuff like that, it's like we get crumbs. They don't even give us the full meal. Like they give us just crumbs of something. And I would love to have a discussion on like, okay, representation, cool, but you could have done more with it when you did it. Like, why are you so afraid to do it? But they get so offended by it simply existing instead of asking the question, was it good? Did they manage to like actually do something that speaks to the gay community or to any queer community at all? And sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's not. Like the thing with Lightyear. Great, there was a gay kiss in Lightyear, but you could take it out and it doesn't change anything about the movie. And that's the thing.
Are the characters still gay?
Right. At that point,
what was the other one they got mad about? What was the other one they got mad about? Strange World.
Yeah.
There was nothing wrong with that movie. I was like, literally, honestly, I would have forgotten the kid was gay if not for the fact that he constantly talked about having a crush on a boy.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't acting like any kind of a stereotype. I didn't feel. Yeah. I felt like he was like, I think the only thing me personally, I want to see representation for everybody.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if the representation is lackluster or piss poor or half-assed, I don't want to say I don't want to see it, but I want better. I want better for the people who want to see it, because like I used to always feel bad for feeling this way, but like when Supergirl was on the air, I remember I used to get so irritated when the show would literally come to a screeching halt for the God, I don't remember the sister's name, but Supergirl's sister and her girlfriend. And it wasn't because they were gay. It was because I thought it was boring. I was like, dude, this is boring even by straight standards. I was like, the drama that's going on between these two women, I have literally seen straight couples do this, and I was bored then. I was like, this should be better. Someone needs to be writing this. Like, I get it. They need to have this drama because they have to have something for these two characters to do. But I was like, do something better. Yeah. I was like, actually have these characters interacting with each other. Actually, like I don't care if they kiss or they had sex on TV. Oh my God, avert my eyes. I don't care.
They don't want to.
I want it to be better.
They don't want to make leading characters queer. That's the issue. Is like the secondary characters. They're like the only character on Supergirl that was under the umbrella that I think got anything solid was Dreamer, making Dreamer a trans woman.
Yeah.
That was a good story because it addressed issues within the trans community, but it also gave her a story that didn't necessarily define her by being a trans woman, which I thought was really important as well. But then there's other stories like you were just talking about, like the love story stuff. That's the most like surface level stuff that these TV shows can do. And if you're not going to add more to the mix, like don't give it to us and act like you've done something. Like do something more than that. And this is why I get so angry about a lot of these chud channels is you can call out representation for a lot of reasons, but don't act like you're telling me something as a gay person that I've never seen before, that I'm not aware of. Like if somebody does something that's surface level, I know it. I get it. My entire community gets it. We don't need you to tell us that. But if you don't want to see better media for queer people, then don't act like it's a problem for you because you don't care. And that's the issue I have.
Well, also they're not watching it anyway.
No,
they're not
They've said
watching
it.
this anyway.
They've
Like,
said it before.
yeah.
They don't watch it.
Well, case in point, Eternals. All the people who are bitching about Eternals didn't go see Eternals.
Right.
So why are you angry that there is a gay man depicted in it and he has the, check notes, the weakest fucking kiss I have ever seen committed to celluloid.
And not just that, but like they were complaining about with the Eternals, they were saying like, you know, oh, they're Marvel's, you know, we put all these diverse people in it or whatever. And it's like, Marvel never said that. Marvel never fucking put out an ad or anything saying, look how diverse our movie is.
Right.
That was the fucking media talking about it. And yet they aim that shit at Marvel. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's
also, can I just say the thing people should actually find like iffy about Eternals no one ever talks about? Like everyone wants to focus on the gay kiss that wasn't even really like I'm sorry, I don't want to sound crass, but I've given my grandma a better kiss than what Paperboy gave his husband. I'm sorry, like that was like even when my wife and I give each other like a little good night, hon. Like we give just a little bit more oomph in it than what they did. That was like they may as well have like did the whole like, okay, let me hug you, but let's not touch crotches.
Right. They might well have said no homo after, right?
Hug that motherfucker, dude. Like that's your fucking husband, dude. Dude, you better put your tongue down that man's throat.
I have
But
a theory.
no,
I think it's because they wanted to be able to take that out if they had to, and not change the rest of the movie. That's
well,
probably
yeah, because
why
I think
that
the movie
was.
did get banned in some
Yeah.
territories.
They wanted to make sure that scene was easily removed, so they didn't.
Well,
want to make
speaking of
anything
that
else.
though, I've been looking the other day. Apparently, our movies haven't been doing well in China at all. So like maybe that trend will start to change where they're like, you know, aiming for the China cut.
Stop taking shit out.
Yeah.
Or inserting shit just like the thing I always like to point out, the Asian doctor they put in Iron Man 3 or the Asian doctor they put in Avengers Age of Ultron. Literally just to tick a box. That shit. But no, the thing people don't talk about with Eternals, I actually find kind of weird that it's like, oh wow, no one's discussing this, is the character Sprite, who granted looks like a kid, but has lived for, you know, hundreds of thousands of years. So, I mean, technically it's not the same thing. But the idea that there are insinuations that Sprite has the hots for Icarus.
Right.
No one talks about, like, if you want to talk about something being problematic, like, and it's not even really problematic because it's not like Icarus is like, ooh, well, you know, actually.
But I mean, I think that that's kind of like how it's done in I think at least Neil Gaiman's run on Eternals.
No, it is
implied too that like that's part that was on purpose. That there's
but
like that's
no
part
one,
of Sprite being a villain in that run is that spoiler alert is that like, you know, he's mad that like I don't know.
Well, it just, I thought it was weird though, because, you know, all this talk about like groomers and, they're, protect the children. God save the children. And it's like, that's how I know they didn't see the movie. Right. Because they'd be complaining about that.
Yeah.
Well, and also they can't really attack the LGBT community that way, which is what they really want to do whenever they use that groomer shit. Like that's typically what
Oh, groomer is just code for gay person. Yeah. That's all it is. It's code for gay.
Person who says, hey, gay people are cool too. You know what I mean?
Oh no, that too. Like if you say, oh yeah, no, I'm totally okay with gay people. Like here's the thing: when I say I want to see gay representation, and once again, I'm speaking as totally not a gay dude here, but like, I'm not saying I want to see Pride Parade. I'm not saying it's got to be Pride Parade every fucking movie, every fucking comic, that we got to put the show on fucking hold. No, I just want to see actual characters that aren't a tick of a box. Like, you're going to put a gay character in, let them be gay, let them be themselves. Like, let them be who you would see if you were outside where grass exists and you saw an actual gay person.
Well, this actually
let them be a human.
Somebody just reminded me in chat that this does relate to something that we could talk about as a recent story. So let's go to the champions. Oh no, I actually don't want to show this website because I don't want to promote them. But okay, so essentially, you guys seen this stuff about the Suicide Squad game and
yeah.
Poison Ivy. So yeah, it's this. There's a video by John De La Rose, that fucking Nazi. Here he's also got a restraining order from his wife and kid from domestic abuse. Nonetheless, it says Harley Quinn groom game is what it says on his here, and it's the title is Harley Quinn in lesbian relationship with underage Poison Ivy, which is like, whoa, man, that's kind of fucking. Is that for real? Of course not. But we can kind of look and see a perfect example of this kind of shit that they do, where they take something completely out of context, and they're applying something that isn't even there. Honestly, let me just find it here real quick. But it's not good.
By the way, Geek Prime, it's Alan Scott, Green Lantern.
Yes,
as we're talking about. I've actually purchased the Tim Sheridan runs of that, and it's really good. I don't know if you had a chance to read it, but I thought
I would say the new one.
Adam Scott. I was like,
yeah,
what?
yeah.
I'm not a new one right now
of Alan Scott. Like, I'm not a biggest fan of his Green Lantern. So when the first issue came out, I wasn't like, oh, let me go get this immediately. But then I had a friend that was like, oh, you should definitely check it out. And they let me borrow theirs, and I read it, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So then I went and got that. I got the second issue. Now I'm hooked. I know the third issue just came out. I haven't had a chance to go pick it up yet.
Yeah, I only read the preview. I only read the preview they had in the back of like another issue, and like I remember that was another thing they did disingenuously. Someone tried to share an image from that comic, that first issue, and they tried to frame it like as if Alan Scott was fucking somebody that he wasn't.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. This one page and one panel of a book doesn't make the whole book that. I wish people would stop doing that too.
Sadly, you have to read all 22 pages.
Yeah.
So
unfortunately,
allegedly this video, I haven't watched it yet, but apparently this is the one where they're passing this around saying that this is shows that it's a groomer situation, right?
Okay.
Okay.
So here she is.
And for anybody that's not aware, this has happened in the comics. It's happened they did it in Gotham. They definitely didn't handle it so well in that show. But like Poison Ivy being aged down to a kid, or basically dying or whatever, and then coming back and she's a kid, you know, it's something that's there's precedent for it.
Right, it is happened.
Should be taller. Are you serious right now? Poison Ivy is a redhead. This is a plant. You might be the dumbest.
There's my girl.
She is not made of meat. Is this what you call a vegetarian option?
I don't know you, but my pheromones remember you. Strange emotions.
Tell me about it. Wasn't expecting you to come in fun size. You really don't know me? Harley and Ivy forever? In 10-story burning letters? Nope. Jeez, LexCorp really did a number on you, huh, Red? He dressed you up in that outfit, too?
No. I took it. When I broke out. He shut me in a room in his town.
So, I don't see any grooming happening.
No, there's no grooming. There's acknowledgement.
Right. That's the thing that they're twisting into it, is that she even acknowledges that they had a relationship in the past.
But then this version of Poison Ivy's like, I don't remember any of it. Like, she's not co-signing to any of that.
Right.
So,
no.
Real quick,
this is some lazy ass fucking leaps in logic for these people.
Yeah.
Like, acknowledgement that they had a relationship prior to her being a child is not grooming.
Nope.
She was an adult. My God.
The biggest thing that stands out to me is how much they modeled Harley Quinn off Margot Robbie. Like,
that's
you
pretty
kind of have
obvious.
to. You kind of have to, right? Like, it's just she is Harley Quinn now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going off of Harley's dialogue for sure. Like, but it's still just a big stretch. It's like that's going to be Harley's experience.
How do you react if you suddenly encountered one of your lovers, but like it was a child version? I don't like. It's a weird thing. It's like, hey, you're back, and oh, what the?
They're acting like Harley's like, oh, hey, you're a kid now. All right, let's get to fucking or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. Look, honestly, like I'm not gonna bullshit you. If that would have come up in this clip, I'd be like, okay,
yeah,
maybe they have a point. But that doesn't happen. None of that happens. What are we doing? How?
It's almost like what we were saying earlier, that the term grooming is just used to attack people. It's not. It doesn't mean anything anymore. Like they literally are just like, oh, kid, adult. We don't like this. They're grooming. That's what it is.
My co-host of the Sunday Force Diversity podcast asked me to say this earlier, and I didn't want to drop it then. But like, yeah, we did a whole episode on Mary Sue a while back. A little movie perp was in that too. And we talked about how like these words, these terms start out as one thing. Like Mary Sue was a specific thing originally, and then it gets expanded to encompasses other shit. You know what I mean? To where like originally Mary Sue was just a literal a fucking self-insert character that can do anything and has no flaws, and now it's just become a woman. You know what I mean? And the same thing with groomer, right? Groomer meant a specific thing, and it still does. But I mean, like, then it's taken and it's broadened and it's cheapened to mean all this other shit that is not anything to do with it. But yeah, and it's just they do that nonstop. You think about SJW, think about woke, think about critical race theory or whatever the fuck it is the right is saying. It typically comes from some term that had a specific meaning, and they've just blown it up to mean whatever the fuck they want it to.
Every fucking time.
All right, so we just have a massive storm hit here, and the lights are flickering. So I'm going to jump out of here before that happens.
All right,
but it was great talking with everybody. Nice meeting you, BLERD. I follow you on Twitter. I love your channel. But thank you so much for joining Dane and here on the channel. So, but I'll talk to everybody later. See you later, Bob. See you later, Dane. See you later, chat.
Hey, take care.
I'm gonna go get ready for power outage.
Oh man.
Good luck.
No fun. No.
Not the best time.
I want to show you a couple more of these Rippa clips real quick though, because
are there more?
Oh, is it not going to play? Because I actually unplugged my fucking external hard drive. Shit. I guess there's not anymore. Actually, let me see.
Does Glenn Beck pay you?
Glenn Beck doesn't pay me. Glenn Beck doesn't own Blaze anymore.
So how much? Okay, so how much does the Blaze pay you?
So context for that, right? Like Bob asked him, how much does Glenn Beck pay him? And he says, Glenn Beck doesn't pay me. He doesn't own it. But what he doesn't say is that, no, Glenn Beck, he's right. Glenn Beck doesn't own Blaze anymore. He owns its parent company. And then he just kind of glosses over that. He's like, oh, he didn't pay me. He didn't own Blaze. It's like, well, I mean, kind of, he technically does, man.
Yeah, it's like if he owns the parent company, then he owns...
But that's just the exact kind of way that Eric will just kind of deflect and weasel his way around and being accountable for a goddamn thing.
I mean, the reason I cut this is just because, like, I just found it fascinating. When I went to the Blaze, he got this weird tick.
He gets really uncomfortable. Like you see, if you watch, I've never seen him do it anywhere else. He starts like kind of, my camera's not on, but he's like twitching his neck a little bit. He seems kind of off put by that question.
Blaze doesn't pay me that much. I'm only a video contributor. I only show up every like once or twice at the most a week.
I mean, you got your
picture. Wait. Once or twice at the most a week.
Only. Well, I mean, yeah. Then there's the point that Bob's making here. That's just like, holy shit.
Yeah, because I'm a video contributor. Why wouldn't my picture be on the wall?
Well, that
everybody that shows up, even
Oh, we almost got it.
Oh man, why is it doing that? That sucks. Well, I mean, I have a picture of it, but have you ever seen that image?
Wait, which one?
The Blaze Media
the lobby
offices?
of the Blaze.
Lobby of the Blaze.
No, I've not.
Let me pull that up real quick. Because
it's amazing. It's why I had to ask him about it.
Kind of says everything.
Is it like the Tim Pool compound? The skate park compound?
Let's see. Sorry.
Actually, I like this. Silas so waiting on that eventual Vlad TV interview of Rippa. My God, dude, I
There
don't.
we go.
I can.
Oh, wait, we got it.
I got it.
Yeah, I want to see this shit. Wow.
Here he is.
So
3 pictures away. He's acting like, oh yeah, of course my picture's on the wall. It's like, dude, there's like 5 posters and you're one of them.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, you know, he's acting like it's no big deal. It's like, well, does everybody work at the Blaze get that? Does the janitor get that?
Yeah, I'm about to say.
It sounds like you do something important to me.
He's at least as important as the fucking Duck Dynasty guy.
Yeah. Like he's literally before the Duck Dynasty guy.
I mean, he's no Alex Stein apparently, but you know.
Yeah. Or what's that other was it Hillary Kennedy?
Kennedy, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you're literally fourth in line after or third in line after Glenn Beck. Yeah, you're
gonna tell me they didn't put any thought into that placement?
Yeah, like if he was after the Duck Dynasty guy, I'd be like, okay, all right, you know, it's not.
It's like, man, Blaze doesn't pay you that much, and yet you're letting them use your photo on the lobby wall, dude. I'd ask for a raise.
Yeah, I was about to say, I personally, I would think that he's getting fucked. He's getting fucked on this deal. Do the people who work the cameras when he does his videos for them, do they get to be on the wall of the Blaze? Who else works for the Blaze that's of note?
Well, there's Alex Stein. He's you know, made a name for himself during the pandemic, going to different like town halls and you know, town city council meetings and just starting a bunch of shit. You know, it acting like an asshole, trolling basically. It seems like that's a lot of what they hire for is just people who are completely shameless trolls who are willing to just stir up shit. Like it literally says, somewhere I saw that Eric had it written professional shit stirrer for the Blaze Media or something like that. You know, it's like not even hiding it. That's what he's.
Well, I just want to point out just a comparison here. I oftentimes get called a shill, like a Marvel shill or, you know, a comic shill, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And they're always like, oh, look at this fucking paid actor. But here's the thing. My picture is not on the wall in the lobby of Marvel Studios or Marvel
They will downplay
Entertainment.
the fuck out of it, man. They downplay it so much.
Yeah.
He's
a paid shill for the Blaze.
Yeah. I mean, I think this picture here, sums it up. And I think this is actually like a real photo that a candid photo that somebody caught, but
oh man. Man, and you know what? Oh, I wonder how Mr. July feels about one of Glenn Beck's recent gaffes.
What did he say?
I think there was a clip recently where he was doing like an ad read. Maybe this was months ago, probably. But he was doing an ad read, and he basically just dropped the N-word, just like kind of doing the my N-word.
I don't think he cares, man. I don't think he cares. Like honestly, like you. So DJ, who was just on with us, he pointed out he actually followed. I don't know if it was Yellow Flash or what. Like people was watching a stream of theirs one night, and they said, "All right, we're gonna go over to Rumble so we can talk about stuff we can't talk about here, or whatever." And they go over there, and it's just Slur City. And these are guys that Eric hangs out with all the time. You know, he's always on streams with these guys. I think he has to just know and not give a shit. You know, it's like in fact, I'd found there was a post that a guy had made on YouTube over a year ago. We covered it in a big video where I covered a bunch of Eric stuff. Is like. This dude, Charles Peralta or whatever, that apparently started the website Being Libertarian and Facebook group or page or whatever, Being Libertarian, that one of his co-founders brought on a few writers, eventually one of them being Eric. And he talks about how, this is like years ago, he talks about how Eric was he anti-civil rights, you know, like he thinks the civil rights movement was a bad thing. And yeah, like some real hardcore shit that's like, you know, of course there's nothing to back any of that up except that you read the stuff and then knowing what I know about him, like I can see it, you know?
Yeah, I can see it. He's one of those guys that I can tell, like he doesn't. I guarantee you. I promise you. Eric July has no actual black friends. I promise you.
Have you seen the puppet?
Yes, I have. I thought it was hilarious.
Okay, because they got a new video up, by the way. They got a new one out.
No, they got a new one?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my god,
it's
yes.
An episode called a show that they're doing called the Riptards.
You know what I love? I just love the fact that they so perfectly encapsulate how he sounds. Like, cause there was a moment there I was like, damn, dude. I was like,
well, so what it sounds
like, did
is
Ripa do the voice?
If anybody uses, if you use Spotify ever, they have a thing they're doing now where they have an AI DJ that will like play, stuff based. It's like they kind of put together a playlist based on what you listen to, and there's a dude's voice, and it kind of sounds like that. Like it, like holy shit, is Eric July my personal DJ right now?
It's like, oh damn.
But yeah, they got a new one up. I can find that in a minute. What do you got there, Bob?
Well, here, we were talking about the debate, and this is my personal favorite moment. Like, BLERD. So you had the misfortune of encountering Isom, right?
Yes.
What was the character's motivation in Isom?
I couldn't tell you because I feel like he was just doing shit.
Good, because Eric July will explain it to us. It's really awesome.
I was asking to just give me a character motivation for Isom. Why does he go? So why does he look for Jasmine?
Because his sister asked him to do it.
All right. So why does he say yes?
Because he cares about his family, specifically considering that this is a family friend. And he knows that his mother would chew his ass out in the event that's all explained in the text.
So he's literally just looking for this girl because his mom would chew him out if he didn't?
Yes.
That's such a heroic fucking moment.
I just think it's hilarious.
Wait, so okay. Look. You a superhero because your mama told you to go find one of your little funky ass friends of your sister. Also, I just want to point out something. The laziest of writing. There's a character in his comic. I want to make sure I get this correct. Is it something Blood Ruth or Truth?
Blood Ruth.
Yes.
Blood Ruth.
Yeah.
So not Elsa Bloodstone is in this comic. And I say not Elsa Bloodstone because I think it's pretty obvious that this character is literally just a palette swap. Something I personally heard Mr. July complain about is palette swaps. You're just taking the character, you're taking Iron Man, you just made him black. You're taking Captain America, you just made him black. You took Wonder Woman, you just made her black. No. So basically what you did is you didn't even file the serial numbers off. I'm looking at the character like literally the first I'm thinking is this is basically like if Elsa Bloodstone was a black woman. This is what I see here. I was like, this is what I see. And I was like, this is just surface level. This is just surface level. I mean, look, I get it. Everything comes from something. Everything that is created, like I would be the first person to say, if someone looked at my designs for my comic, you would say, okay, this guy's like Black Constantine. You would not be wrong. But my character doesn't act like Constantine. My character like literally is just like a dude who kind of doesn't even really operate in the same capacity as Constantine. But I find it incredibly lazy when the name of the character makes it that much more obvious.
Yeah.
You mean like with Rob Liefeld's The Fighting American, or whatever the fuck?
God, yeah. Or hell, even Deadpool. Wade Wilson. That doesn't sound like Slade Wilson at all.
Rob's one of the worst at that shit.
That doesn't sound like a DC Comics character at all.
I've never heard of
Slade. No.
What?
Slade.
Names are completely different.
Look, see, here's the difference. Slade. See, no, that's different. Like it's like watching Vanilla Ice break down. Like, see, there's this dun 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 dun. See, ours is dun 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 dun. See, it's different.
Yeah,
it's different.
I love that Vanilla Ice breakdown.
We're not McDonald's. We're McDowell's.
McDowell's, yeah.
They have the golden arcs, or do they have the golden arches?
We have the golden.
We have the golden arcs. It's not the same thing. Not the same thing.
Not the same.
But I honestly, I challenge anyone to read. Okay, first, look, I challenge anyone to read Isom and come out of it feeling like he's a good character. Like everyone I saw, like, you know, just filleting, like just straight up meat glazing this comic, saying, "Oh, it's great. It's changing the game. And it's totally changing." Like I saw a website trying to say, "Oh, this is how black characters should be written." I'm like, first off, no. I'm gonna tell you right now, if Marvel or DC created a black character and that character in their first, like their number one issue, the issue that's supposed to be like your litmus test for whether or not you are going to you ride with this character going forward, like you have to put moments in this, like case in point, Bob, like you mentioned, motivation. You have to have reasons for why you are going to spend your hard-earned dollars on this character. And if you, a creative, come to me when I ask you about the motivation for your character and you just tell me that, I don't know, my character just did it because his mom told him to.
Yeah.
I don't want to read that comic because that tells me that character has no fucking agency.
Yes.
Like this, like, okay, yeah. I'll be fair. I'll be charitable and say, okay, it would be different if there were like, are there world-ending stakes at play here? If you don't do what your mother asked you to do as a character, is something bad going to happen? Like, okay, is the woman in danger? Is this woman that you're looking for? Is she in any like immediate and present danger? Is she going to die? And if she dies, is the world going to be destroyed? Is there something bad that's going to just absolutely positively fucking happen?
Well, look,
no.
What's even worse is that fucking, so that's how he starts. But then by the end of the first issue, he straight up says, I don't even really care about Jasmine anymore. That dude disrespected me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
right.
Like,
like I said, I'm charitable. I'm willing to be charitable and say, okay, if your mama told you to do it, but like, is there another reason behind it?
Mm-hmm. What's the real deep personal motivation behind, like, why is it so important that your mama not chew you out? Like, is that really the worst thing in the world? Like, she'll chew me out, whatever. Like, what Brad Pitt says in Inglourious Basterds, I've been chewed out before.
Yeah.
Right.
I can feel that.
I don't know. I feel like, okay, so so here, this is what and I don't know if this came up in this, and maybe it didn't. If it did, stop me, please. Because you brought up Amazing Fantasy 15 earlier in the conversation when asking about motivation. So like, let's just put this out here. So Peter Parker's motivation for ultimately becoming Spider-Man, of course, it all starts at the wrestling match. But by that point, he's already got the powers, but he's just not, he hasn't picked up the responsibility.
Right.
It's the death of his Uncle Ben that he's like, maybe I should have done something.
Arguably his fault. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I would say objectively his fucking fault.
True.
He could have literally stopped a criminal and he didn't do it because he didn't feel that it was his responsibility. And now witnessing the fallout of that, he decides going forward to listen to the words of his Uncle Ben that have been misquoted, and I have misquoted multiple times. But it's been misquoted so much everyone now just says it that way, even Spider-Man.
Yeah.
With great power comes great responsibility. So now he must do the thing.
The thing that I thought you were talking about when you said misquoted is that it's actually with great power must come great responsibility. Which implies a level of like, no, it's not just inherent. You got to fucking apply that fucking responsibility to it.
Right. Right. No, 100,000, 110 million thousand gajillion %. Here's the thing. At no point in Isom do I feel like anything close to that has gotten across. I'm not saying that I'm asking Isom to be Spider-Man, but what I'm saying is that at no point do I feel like Isom is a character worth like, okay, so here's what happens. I pick up, like, I don't own the comic. I'm sorry. I did not pay money for it to read it.
You shouldn't.
Honestly, someone put it on the 7 Seas.
I got a free copy from a friend.
There you go. That you know what? That's that's going to be my framing as well.
I got a free copy from this website. I've given the fucking website out to people in chat before. I don't give a shit.
Hey, there you go. Hey, and honestly, like I said, problematic people, I don't owe them money. But if I'm reading your comic and I get to the end, if I read it from the cover to the back of the page, to the back of the book, and I don't have a reason, you've not given me reason to follow your character any further past issue 1, guess what I'm not going to do?
Whenever it's 90-something pages of issue 1. It's like...
Right, I was like, this isn't even 20... Okay, no, stop. 90 pages? If you can't give me the character's motivation in under 90 pages, I don't fucking want it.
Something to latch onto that's like something that's he doesn't have to be a perfect guy. He doesn't even have to be a heroic guy necessarily.
No,
but like something that's a person that you can fucking grab onto and go, okay, I get that part of him. You know what I mean?
I mean,
I know. Greg B nailed it. That's it. That is the reason. That's see y'all don't know. Like Eric July knows. He knows the real reason Peter is Spider-Man. It's because he knows. He would get jumped in the afterlife. Uncle Ben would want 5 minutes New York style with Spider-Man, and he would go upside his head. That's what's going to happen, and Peter doesn't want those kind of problems, because clearly getting your ass whooped in the afterlife is the biggest fucking motivator in the world. But yeah, no, he's a fucking idiot. This is like, I'm sorry, this is terrible writing.
Yeah.
I've honestly, my daughter, who is 8, has written more interesting stories than this.
I mean, the reason I brought up Amazing Fantasy number 15 was literally because, like, it's a comic book where the character has different motivations throughout the piece. They change. And it's like 22. It's not even 22 pages. It's not even the full comic book. There's a second story, I'm pretty sure, in Amazing Fantasy number 15.
Yes, there.
15 pages, and he does it in 15 pages, not 75 or 90, whatever the fuck it was.
Well, even Roboters says it here. Bendis made you care about Miles Morales in one issue.
True.
Yeah.
Which is that is, and I'll throw you one better. Kamala Khan. I cared about Kamala Khan from the word go.
Yep.
I cared about Jaime Reyes, Blue Beetle, from the word go.
I will say the one that I will give a pass on. Like at first, it was like I don't really see the reason for this, and it felt a little kind of like quote unquote forced, but they figured it out pretty quick. Was Riri Williams?
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you that one.
At first, I was like, man, it just seemed like that. They were just kind of throwing stuff at the wall. She wasn't really figured out yet, but they got it figured out.
I'll tell you what happened. I can tell you exactly what happened with Riri Williams. Riri Williams, and I honestly, this is a joke I say all the time about Brian Michael Bendis. Brian Michael Bendis is a tale of two writers. There's a difference between the Brian Michael Bendis you get, who was writing Miles Morales, and then there's Brian Michael Bendis that was writing Iron Man. And look, sometimes, depending on which Brian Michael Bendis you get, it depends on, like, did he get up in the morning? Did he have a good breakfast? Did he get a full 8 hours? Did his wife and his children, tell him that they love him this morning? That dictates whether or not you get good Brian Michael Bendis or you get bad Brian Michael Bendis. But, I mean, honestly, that is any writer. Yeah. And this is what I tell people. If you think Riri Williams is a terrible character, if you're just based on the Brian Michael Bendis stuff alone, I honestly would not blame you if you read the Brian Michael Bendis stuff and said, I'll rock with Riri Williams. But here's where I will tell you, you are being willfully against the character. Is if I tell you that another writer came along after Brian Michael Bendis and wrote an objectively better version of the character that ended up being the version of the character we got in the MCU, then at that point, that's on you. That's not on Bendis or anyone else or Marvel for that matter.
Makes me think of all the, how many characters have there been introduced like in the 60s, 70s, 80s that when they first were introduced, nobody gave a shit. You know what I mean?
They were boring.
And then nobody cared. Like
I thought Doctor Strange was boring. Like old Doctor Strange?
Moon Knight.
Gross.
You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like Moon Knight was fucking interesting.
No.
And then
Moon Knight didn't get interesting to me until like I always thought he was a cool looking character,
right? Of course,
but I didn't actually like reading Moon Knight until like maybe was it Doug? Who was it that wrote when he started going like super dark?
That was
like he was like fighting Taskmaster. Was that Doug Munch or Munch or
so like during the Civil War era, right? Pretty sure.
I think so. Like like in and around that time frame. I'd have to look it up, but like
literally the X-Men, Morgan. Yeah, the X-Men at launch, they got fucking canceled because nobody fucking gave a shit.
They were okay. I'm gonna go. Okay, first off, original X-Men. In a word, whack. I fucking hate the original X-Men. X-Men didn't get. I'm gonna tell you. You want to know what X-Men got good to me?
Giant size number 7, number 1, and what is it? 19. Yep.
Right here.
Such a good comic too.
Yeah.
This is when the X-Men don't exist before.
And guess what? Just what it was that they changed. They made it more diverse.
Right.
And then, I mean, soon after that, Chris Claremont came around and made non-political comics forever.
Yep, never said anything.
I did not. I'm sorry. I just saw what Julius said. Isom is a mama's boy. So,
one thing here, real quick. One more clip I want to show you. So, this is by our buddy Ed. He's on the channel Pop Counterculture. This last clip will show you kind of like it's fucking brilliant. How Eric handled that debate after. So there was about like what did you say, Bob? 3 points that you really nailed his ass on and embarrassed him.
At least
that he wasn't able to weasel out of. I mean, I'm sure there was more. I'm being, I guess, conservative. There's like 3 strong points, 3 strong points that I know off the top of my head, and that was too much for Eric, so he had to cope.
February 5th, 2023. Eric July debated organized chaos for 3.5 hours.
What do you mean new legacy care? Are you talking about knockoff versions? Is that what you're referring to?
While Bob went on with his life, Eric stayed on air for another 2 hours to declare himself the winner. This is what winning looks like.
I'm not gonna use aggression on you, but all I'm saying is people done got knocked the fuck out for a lot less. Don't let me go to a con and his motherfucking ass is there. You've left your parents or your children with a single mom. You left your children with a single fucking mom, divorced, fat, and out of shape, right? And white, right? And white, right? Right and white, right? Got this jackass in the chat. Here's this. Eric is so immature. This is how I think he says. Eric is so immature and insecure, resorting to fat jokes, making fun of his family situation and threat of physical violence. You're an inch shorter than me, and I got more on you, but I'm built. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't no fucking, like, you see what I mean? You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm actually built. I'm built for this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not fucking, like, this is a solid 215. You see what I'm saying? Right? Solid. Look at this. This is a solid 215. Right? I'm built like a goddamn brick.
Built like a goddamn brick. That's become a meme around here, you know.
Well, he's married to a dime too, so
yeah, he's a brick and he's married to a dime.
Wow, man, man, those are like bars right there, man. Damn. Why'd you let him bar you up like that, Bob?
You know, Bob had shit to do, like, you know, not worry about Eric July the rest of the day.
Next morning.
I just want to point out, I find it very sus that he could not say any of this to your face.
Yeah.
Huh.
Like, I mean, like he waited till you were off. Till you were no longer on the call to have this kind of energy. Because I remember saying something like that to him when he was like kind of getting loud with me. I said, first off, I know for a fact if we met face to face, you wouldn't be talking to me like this.
Mm-hmm.
And he tries to be like, oh no, I'd keep that same energy. And I was like, no, you wouldn't. Because there's social norms. There's social norms that happen. And I'm not saying that like he wouldn't do it because he's scared of me, but because he knows that there are consequences for raising your voice at somebody like that. getting in somebody's face, like talking that loud, talking that big, because there's a lot of spit that comes with that. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not saying I'd have hit him, but that conversation would have gone a lot differently. I'm just saying, it just is what it is. I don't care. Like, his solid 215 would be a solid 215 on the ground. It'd be it would be 215 pounds of solid bricks in the ground.
We take a little bit of a issue with him being a solid 215 as well. Being a guy who's always been a little bit stockier to varying degrees, like the way he's looking whenever he stands up and he's kind of like, look at this, and he's like trying to show off a little bit, but like, yeah, he definitely has lost some weight. I saw an older video of him. He lost some weight. Good for him.
Yeah,
but like he's still a little bit, he's trying to hide some of it a bit. So he ain't solid.
Oh yeah, no, God no. And I would also like to just point out the fact that for a guy who, I feel like you're like, if most of your fan base is white, having a racist moment like that,
yeah,
like live in 4K, I don't know, man. Probably wasn't the best look, but yeah, hey, well,
I think he balanced it out as the thing, the way how he gets away with it, because he was also saying that some dude named Tyrone had come in and taken Bob's wife and kids and stuff like that. So it's like he's doing racism all over the place, I think. Because I looked that up and I was like, why is he saying that name specifically? And it's like an incel term.
I never.
It's like the incel version. It's like Chad, but it's a black guy. The black version of a Chad is Tyrone.
Yeah, and honestly, that's a dog whistle in and of itself. Like, basically, okay, so I'm gonna tell you how I read that. When you said that's what that was, so now when I hear him say that, all I hear is Mandingo.
Oof. Yeah.
That's all I feel like that's what he was trying to say. Like, he was dog whistling Mandingo to his audience, basically. That, and I mean, who knows? I could be wrong. I'm open to being incorrect on this, but that is just what I feel, and honestly, he could not change my mind otherwise.
Well, man, I appreciate you being on with us and stuff. I'm about to have to go get some food in me.
Yeah,
yeah,
excited
same.
to meet you. I think you're awesome.
Thank you. Actually, I had a really good time. I know. I have a lot of people now that I'm gonna be like looking for now, because
hell yeah,
like I'm such a Twitter person who says something and then puts my phone down and walks away. So like I don't pay attention to a lot of stuff that happens all the time. Yeah, no, I'll actually be keeping an eye out now, because I have new friends.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. And we need to do it again. Actually, talk about some, because I wanted to ask you. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do it real quick. Ask you what you think about a couple of things real quick. Okay, so Pepe Larraz is essentially a fucking art god, right? Like, because I mean, I haven't been this hyped about an Iron Man armor since Extremis.
Oh yes.
Holy shit, dude!
I'm not gonna lie. So that armor, I just want to put this out here as a guy who is an artist himself. That is a design that is so sick. I love it. I think it is beautiful. Man, I think he's a genius. I'm so glad I don't have to draw it, because I'd fuck it up.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
Yeah,
I would fuck it up. There are. I feel weird saying Mount Rushmore, for artists anymore, because there's so many good ones that, like, why limit yourself to 4? But man, if I ever did, Pepe Larraz would be on that fucking mountain, because that. I'm sorry. I don't know what deal with the devil he made to be this fucking good, but I want to make the same deal.
I mean, I already love the guy from, like, House of X, Powers of 10, all that. It's like, it's clear it's drawing, but like design is where I'm like blown away. It's just like the fact that he, I think it's he, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. I could be wrong. I'm open to being wrong.
I was reading about Duggan was talking about him creating this, and he was like saying that essentially he looked at it and looked at Iron Man and said, so what are the most iconic aspects of Iron Man's armor? And it's basically the chest piece the legs or the thighs or something, which I was surprised about that part, but I was like, okay, I guess I can see. And he said everything else, I'm fucking out of here. And I'm like kind of starting, and it's like, man, the balls it takes to do that, and then still it's identifiable as Iron Man.
Yeah, and looks better. Like when I think of Iron Man, I think of the red and gold. I don't think about black.
No,
I don't think about anything else really.
But I mean, I guess with Mysterium, it kind of makes sense that you'd have some black in there, right? Like
it's got to be black. So, but this, honestly, I'm sorry, but I think this might be like this is the Iron Man armor for me now. Like honestly, I don't. Man, and I know he will at some point because you have to.
They'll go back.
I don't think he should ever go back. Like this is the armor.
That's why I'm saying Extremis, the moment in Extremis, whenever he gets that armor and the design from that moment on, that was Addy Granoff, in fact. That it basically stayed more or less around that Extremis design ever since then. Times here and there, he would do some kind of wild ass. They'd have some wild ass armor or whatever. And I'm hoping that this isn't one of those just one-off wild ass armors. That this is something that sticks around because it's dope.
Yeah, no, I am Jerry Duggan. I implore you, please, never let this go. Like, please, because I know, like, usually whenever a writer is about to wrap up a story, because they kind of did this with the Christopher Cantwell run of Iron Man. Like, you kind of build up Iron Man, and then, okay, well, now we got to break him back down to kind of put him in a position that the next writer can do something with them.
Kind of gotten old with Iron Man, I feel like.
Yeah, like I'm like, just let Iron Man be Iron Man. Like let him be great. Like I want Iron Man to stay X-Men adjacent for a while.
I like that too. And it looks like he's gonna be with the what is it?
Powers of Frost.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I know you've been following that stuff. So I'm a big Krakoa fan myself. And this is these tantalizing covers right here.
Oh man.
Especially the one on the right. Like, holy shit, man.
Oh my god, dude. That like I'm not moment. That is something I cannot wait. Like I cannot wait to get to that issue. Like because I know it's going to be good. I know it's going to be good, and I can't wait to see. And more importantly, like I know covers lie sometimes. Sometimes what happens on the cover isn't always indicative of what's going to actually happen in the interior of the comic. But at the same time, I would really like to know who's on the other side of that pistol.
No shit. I mean, so the one on the left, actually, there's a lot of implications the more you think about that one on the left, though. Like, something that happens, like, holy shit. But I mean, on the right, it's like maybe Wolverine doesn't end up literally in that situation with stasis and that happened, but like that's going to be the issue where basically the tables turn. I believe.
Right. There are turntables in that issue. Like there's no doubt. There's no doubt about it. And
this is all these are Pepe Raz as well. So.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing I keep trying to tell people, and I wish people would understand this. People keep trying to say comics are dying, comics aren't good anymore. If you say that, I'm sorry, you just told me you're not reading any comics, dude. This is honestly like I know people like say, oh, the golden age, this, that, a renaissance, but honestly,
thank you.
Comics right now are, I'd say they're honestly better than they've been in a long time.
Pound for pound, I'd say that it's a fucking excellent era for the storytelling and characterization in comic books, including mainstream comics.
Mainstream especially.
That's why it's so fucking frustrating, honestly, that these dudes be grifting on this stuff like this because, oh man, y'all are turning a lot of people away from being interested in maybe being interested in some comics that are some of the best comics I've ever fucking read in a lifetime of reading comic books have been like in the last 5 years or so.
Greg B just said Krakoa is the best X-Men has been in 30 years in my opinion. You're not alone there because honestly, as I think back, the last time I really loved X-Men, like really, really loved X-Men, was like the 90s. So, I mean, you're not wrong.
I'd make an argument that this might be, and hold on, the best era of X-Men comics ever, because of the fact that while Claremont's is definitely iconic and it's fucking set the stage for everything that came after it, Claremont was a little wobbly sometimes.
no, he was.
Well,
this era
I
has
mean-
had so many different different voices and creators working on it that there's like been there's not everything's as great as other things, but like generally it's all been fucking operating at full tilt.
Actually, the complaint I always levied at Claremont, I love his writing, but like I feel like sometimes he doesn't trust his artists to tell the story because it is so word like all
It's
over
heavy.
the place, explaining
And-
every detail, and it's like
in this
especially
like, focus on the
early.
story. Yeah,
Yeah.
This era of comics definitely benefits from decades of writers and artists learning to work together that way, for sure. Like you can see it, it's all coming to fruition now with the way, like the creative teams generally, the way that they trust each other and work together. It's like, oof.
Oh yeah, early Claremont, he was so word heavy. Like he was a teller, not a shower.
yeah.
And I feel like you can get away with that sometimes. And back then, comics, yeah, for the time, okay.
I mean,
but
he
even
did get away with it. He was still good, but yeah,
yeah, and Claremont, even by his own admission, he'll tell you he used to be a little too wordy. That it took him a while to find his footing. But even after he found his footing, not every story was lights out. I mean, it was good. It was good, but it wasn't like always like he wasn't Jordan. He wasn't Jordan in his prime. I mean, he was still great, but he was like maybe less of Jordan, maybe more Magic Johnson. I don't know. Or an Isaiah Thomas or something. I don't know. But like he was great. He put X-Men on the map.
Mm-hmm.
So he's always like, honestly, I'm always going to kiss the ring.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Of Chris Claremont. But I'd be a liar if I told you that Jonathan Hickman didn't usher in what I think is objectively some of the best X-Men I've ever read.
Some of the best comics I've ever read, man.
Yeah.
And, and so one thing I think the difference is, I was thinking about this the other day, that like a lot of earlier comic writers didn't start out wanting to be comic writers.
They were novelists.
Right? Like, they were novelists,
Yeah.
and like nowadays you got dudes who like people who are just like, I'm gonna be a comic book artist, and that is, a writer, and that's what they go through, life trying to get to, and it's like you can tell there's a bit of a difference in how much they hit the ground running, and they don't have that as much of that learning phase of like trying to trust the artist and stuff like that. They understand the medium. So
What was Lucifer just said? Yeah, talk about Brubaker. Like this is my cap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which I'll tell you right now, I have a whole stack of not stack, but because it's not a stack, but like the Return of the Winter Soldier, the Death of Captain America, Return of Captain America, all that. Like that is like, I'm gonna tell you now, I don't care what anyone says. That's some of the best goddamn Captain America I've ever read in my life.
Yes.
That honestly, like I was never like the super hugest fan of Captain America. I liked him, but that was when Ed Brubaker was on Cap. I was like, okay, I'm now listening.
And that was when I got back into comics as an adult after being out of them for years. It was like Civil War, and then, following everything, before that, I went back and read the Winter Soldier stuff, and then all the way through to Civil War and after. And like that was me as an adult going, holy shit, comic books can be fucking, it's like still amazing. They're like better than just kids content.
And we get we have so much variety now in comics.
Yeah.
Like if you told me the greatest Hawkeye comic ever written, first off, or rather that one of the greatest comics ever written was a Hawkeye comic that wasn't even like a typical superhero comic, it was a slice of life.
Yeah.
I would laugh you out of the shop back when I was a kid.
That's another reason why these grifters be saying that, like, oh, it's all just the same bullshit. Like, dude, there's such a disparate array of types of stories being told that don't let anybody, like, are there problems in the industry? Yes, but like we were saying earlier, none of them are what these guys are. The problems are not the people reading. They're not the people that are writing. The problems are corporate, just straight up corporate problems.
Yeah.
The fact that this quarter's got to make more money than last quarter, so we're going to double down on this stuff that like sold like last year, but even though people are kind of tired of that, we don't care. We're going to double down on that type of shit. The idea that like, like what was that? There was a recent Al Ewing book that got canceled after like 4 or 5 issues or something, and it's like Al Ewing can't fucking complete an arc before you fucking cancel his book, dude. You know what I mean? Like, that's a problem. That's not good.
And the thing is, I always tell people try to equate sales to good. Like, there's tons of terrible comics that have made lots of money. But there's also a lot of great comics that didn't make a lot of money. Like, I would tell anyone that, pound for pound, I think Al Ewing's one of the best writers in the business.
Yep.
Pound for pound. I would take a Al Ewing, this might be sacrilege to some people, but I know a lot of people love Grant Morrison. I think Grant Morrison's fine, but I'm going to be quicker to read an Al Ewing anything versus a Grant Morrison anything.
I mean, honestly, yeah, same. Because, as much as I love Grant Morrison, their stuff is it's denser and it's told in a way that it's almost like elevated, and if I want to use a word like that, above normal comic books. Whereas
you have to read it all.
Straight up tells a comic book story is what Al Ewing does. This X-Men Red, holy shit, dude.
Yeah, no, his X-Men Red, his Sword, his Defenders Beyond. Hell, right now his Avengers Incorporated, which is not a typical Avengers story.
That's the one that got canceled.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the thing is, and here's the thing though, it was a great comic. It's a very good comic, but the problem is it's not a typical superhero comic. And what is it that you said they always say? They're always doing the same thing. They're never trying anything new. They're never trying to tell different stories. And yet, here was Al Ewing handing you a murder mystery Avenger story told through the lens of Vision and the Wasp.
I did not know that.
And it was good. It was good. Honestly, I expect Al Ewing to pick some of those storyline threads up elsewhere like he often does with a lot of his stuff. But I tell people all the time, you want different, but you really don't want different. You complain about, it's always the same old, same old, same old. But meanwhile, you're still going to the store and you're buying those same 17 copies of Batman every week. You don't want different. No, you don't want new. You want same old, same old.
You know what? It would really help if you could just say anything other than what you don't want.
Exactly. Exactly.
They all they can do is complain. They can't, provide anything, offer any kind of ideas or whatever. It's just not like that. Yeah, we want different, but not like that. More like how it used to be, but different. But the way it used to be. What the fuck? And
honestly, what they really mean is they just want comics to go back to when it's not even that. You know what it is? The comics were always the same. They were always the same. The messages were there. They were probably, I would dare say, probably a little more obfuscated to them because when they were reading these things, they were children. So they didn't have the brain capacity to catch the nuance of X-Men. The more subtle nuances of X-Men, which I felt, honestly, X-Men was a pretty heavy-handed comic, if I do say so myself.
Yeah. Did you ever read God Loves Man Kills? Come on now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you first off, if you see the title God Loves Man Kills and you think there's no subtext here whatsoever. Okay.
Yeah, you know how many people I've had tell me what about how well comics were selling in the early 90s? And it's yeah, man, but what happened right after that, dude? What was the conditions that led to those kind of sales, and what happened after that? You know what happened after that? You go back and get caught up on history, maybe. We want a healthy market, not one that's just selling fucking absurd amounts of issues every month that are going to be
20 reprints.
You can go into any comic shop and find for 20 different copies of X-Men, well, not X-Men #1 necessarily, but probably that one, probably X-Men.
But that first trade, that first Jim Lee.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the very first Jim Lee X-Men Volume 2 #1 the Mutant Genesis.
Yep.
That series of books got resold and reprinted so many times that it's worth nothing.
I mean, the reason it sold so many copies in the first place is because it had 5 different versions that put them all together. And
yeah. I mean, matter of fact, they even had the one where you could fold it all the way out.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like the best-selling comic book of all time. Now, is it a good comic book? Yeah, actually, I think it's pretty decent.
Good, yeah.
Is it the best comic book of all time?
No.
Get a grip. No,
not at all. I love it.
Yeah,
I still love it. The thing is, you could do two things can be true at once. You can walk and chew bubble gum at the same time. Mm-hmm. You can have legitimate criticism for something and still love it. You don't have to, just because you critique something doesn't mean you have to hate it. Some of the things I love, I tear apart.
Same.
I can tear, dude. One of my all-time personal favorite things in this world is Star Trek. Love Star Trek.
Yeah,
I can rip it apart.
Oh,
and still enjoy it.
Star Trek.
Yeah, dude, I will tell you right now, Deep Space Nine, one of my, probably my, short of, Strange New Worlds, probably my all-time favorite of anything. Like, there's the Strange New Worlds, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine. I could just throw those in a blender, and I could watch the episodes in any, random order, whatever, and I would still be ear to ear grinning like a fucking, kid in a candy store. But I can pick them apart.
Yeah.
I can make criticisms of the first season of Next Generation, despite the fact that I love
absolutely.
it.
Oh, I can make a lot of criticisms of the first two seasons of the Next Generation. I could.
Oh,
I could
100%.
Season 2 is rough as well. It's not as rough, but yeah.
Definitely. Oh no, I tell people that show got better the more facial hair Jonathan Frakes got.
Yeah.
Like as his face started filling out with that goatee, I was like, all right, we're getting somewhere now. That's how I always know. Like, if I walk in a random room and someone has Star Trek on, this Next Generation, I can always tell what like if I want to stay in the room to watch the whole episode, or if I just want to kind of jump in and just, oh, is it on this part yet? Okay, cool. All right. I'll be like, oh, wait. Let me see Riker's face. Ooh, man, that face ain't got no hair on it. I'll be back in a few minutes. The thing I'm waiting on is coming up. But I love all these things. I freaking love Star Trek. I can tear it apart if I want to. I love probably one of my favorite comics of all time that most people don't even know it existed is Shadowhawk from back in the old, the early, the 90s era of Image Comics. I can tear that fucking comic apart viciously.
So I wanted to, Motorola, yeah. So there was the comics did really, really, really well. The best they've ever done, really, early 90s. And then very quickly, right after that, they did the worst that they've ever done, except for maybe the 50s
it was a
comics code. But we got a video on the Initiative channel about that, where I talk about, I just linked that in chat as well, if anybody's curious, where I talk about that boom and bust. And I'm curious what you think about this, BLERD, because this is kind of what I figured out about Eric July. Like, anytime he references specific comic books, it's always from, it's like Infinity Gauntlet or the Maximum Carnage, or something like from that very small window, a few years of comics that, like, most people our age got into comics around that time, right? And it's like very common, but that's typically the only times he'll ever mention anything specific. And then, like, whenever he said that having Adam Warlock in the Guardians 3 wastes him because Thanos is already dead, and it's like, man, do you think that Thanos and Adam Warlock are like the same as Silver Surfer and Galactus or something? Because it ain't like that. He's got his own history, his own shit going on that he can, But
are you talking about Adam Warlock like he starred in a series that didn't feature Thanos as a major character?
Yeah.
What?
Right.
So I came up with this idea because it seems like there's a lot of people who are very, very passionate about comic books. Like, I believe that Eric July at some point did have real passion for comics.
Oh, yeah.
Except he just doesn't seem to know much outside of that specific window. And I think that it made me theorize that there's two different types of fans that came out of the 90s, and that the fandom actually kind of split, because you get people like, us, who we followed the characters and the stories, and we read them, and we might have collected, trying to get some covers or whatever, but for the most part, we were familiar with what was going on. And then you get guys who, like, they probably just bought some issues, and then they were just strictly thinking about collecting these things, right? And they put them in a box.
They weren't there to read. They weren't there to enjoy.
They're the speculators. They put them in a box, they set them aside, and then, like, but they still consider themselves fans. You know what I mean? And like, and that's how you end up with such disparate, like, knowledge levels to it, I think. And despite the passion. And anyway, that was just a theory I came up with. And it helps me kind of navigate some of these guys a little bit. But
Beatmaster said Todd McFarlane hopes to make it through the segment unnamed. He's like, don't look at me. Don't look at me.
he's like the best and the worst part, right? Like, he's a little bit of both.
Oh yeah, I will recommend to you, if anyone who is in this chat right now, if you've never seen the documentary So Much Damage I recommend giving it a.
Yeah, it's on Amazon, I believe.
Yeah, give it a watch. Give it a watch. You'll learn some things about the. It's all about the rise and fall of Image Comics before it was.
They retooled themselves.
Yeah, they retooled themselves into like a less capes, more creator owned, and different stories.
And they put out some great shit now.
Oh yeah, dude! Image Comics is I would like 99.9% of the time while all these chuds are arguing about Marvel versus DC, I usually tell them, well, they're both fighting for second place a lot of the time because like not saying from a monetary perspective, but just from like a sheer volume of good comics perspective.
Just be like, I'm just gonna start saying something like, have you read Something Is Killing the Children?
Yeah,
you know?
like dude. Philadelphia,
Boom, though, right? Yeah, Philadelphia.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's Boom. But I would, but still, the energy though. Philadelphia, one of the best comics out right now. I would tell you, read Saga.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Deadly Class. I know a lot of people like to shit on it because the TV show was one and done, but the comic itself was fantastic.
Very good. Very good.
I mean. Before I would have actually maybe even recommended a Mark Millar book before he lost his whole goddamn mind. But Image Comics is pound for pound some of the best stories you're ever going to read.
True.
And there are other imprints, Boom Studios. I'm a huge fan of Boom Studios. Some of the best books in the last 10 years have come out of Boom Studios. Something's Killing the Children, Once and Future.
I need to catch up. I read more. I've read, I think, the first two kind of trades of Once and Future. And
dude. So good. So good. It's fantastic stuff. Like, honestly, I was mad at myself for shitting on, like, not shitting on, but just, like, not paying attention to Boom Studios back in the early goings. Because, like, dude, they're Power Rangers. Chef's kiss.
That's what I keep hearing. Yeah, I mean, and they definitely got some great Ninja Turtles comics too.
Yeah. That's like IDW, but still. Well, they did like. Well, no, I tell you that. Boom did crossovers. They handled the crossovers with the Power Rangers.
Okay.
But yeah, go over to IDW. I literally have a like over here. Like this is a whole shelf right here. Like right here. This is all Ninja Turtles right here. This is all IDW Ninja Turtles. Almost 100 some odd issues, I believe, of Ninja Turtles and various spinoffs, all collected in hardcover. It is so fucking good. Hey, that's me.
Yo, yeah. I'm gonna promote you one more time. For anybody that for some foolish reason is not subscribed over there, you should be. Man, you do like what? At least every Saturday. I know you've got the BLERD Cave.
Yep, we got the BLERD Cave every Saturday, live streaming on Thursdays now too. New videos every week, just about. As a matter of fact, I've got some X-Men videos that literally just dropped. The finale of Immortal X-Men that just came out. I have right there. I was blanking on the things I've read. X-Force. I've been covering the Tom King Wonder Woman, which has been just so fucking good, and I love it that it pisses off the chuds.
What did you think about the Hydra Cap reveal, man?
Man, dude, I was so happy because I felt vindicated. After Comic Book Resources literally stole my theories and ran off with them. I also appreciated that just about every other comic book YouTuber that was like bigger than me said it was everyone but Hydra Cap.
Yeah.
So I was very happy.
I don't know if it was you that said it that I heard it first. I didn't think of it first, and once somebody said it, I was like, yes, that's fucking who it is for sure.
Yeah, it made too much sense.
Yeah,
it made too much sense to not be true. And I do a lot of stuff, as you can see. I'm kind of like, it's mostly going to be X-Men stuff, but I do also occasionally jump into the arena of other things from time to time if people will allow me to. I do have some Ninja Turtles content that I have planned coming up because I've been reading a lot of it. And I feel like, I try to have a little something there to, let people know that, there are good people out there in the comic space of YouTube.
There are. It's, you probably get a lot too, where somebody will find my channel and be like, oh God, I thought there was nothing but that other garbage out there. Thank God I found your channel.
I've had it a lot. And you know what? Even some of the ones, and I will lie, I am a little bit of a grifter, just in the sense that like there were some videos I did recently that I framed a certain way to attract an audience. Like I did one for remember there's that one right there. Is Marvel ruining Silver Surfer by making him a woman? That was a total. I'll cop to the clickbait there, because a lot of people clicked on that video thinking I was going to be angry, and I was not.
Look, if you've never made YouTube videos, you might not realize how much it kind of like in a lot of ways insists that you frame things a certain way if you want to get any views. And then there's certain topics that just like there's almost no way to frame it without it kind of seeming that way, unless you're going to give the answer away in the fucking title or whatever, and you don't want to do that.
Right. Like the go woke, go broke, or. That's why I put the or there, because like I do people weren't going to pay as much attention to that, but like I'm not angry in the review about the Marvels. I actually talk about how much I love the Marvels, and I bring up all the actual reasons why the movie bombed at the box office, not because anyone was boycotting it. It was
because they were superheroes with vaginas. I know.
Oh yeah, no, that's 100%. Yeah, no. See, whoa, man.
Yeah,
it's because there were wabans in the movie.
I was saying that. I don't know if you said in there, but this is something that popped into my mind. Was like, I kind of feel like the name of the movie was a mistake.
Yeah, it should have just been called Captain Marvel 2,
right?
Or Captain Marvel, the Marvels, or something like that.
I mean, I get that they wanted to kind of go that way and call it that. This like a big, it's a cool thing or whatever. But it doesn't convey what the fuck the movie is about at all. It could be anything. So yeah,
it literally, you could have picked a plethora of different things. You could have called that movie. I think it would have done better. And honestly, we can't negate the fact that there was a SAG after strike. There was a writer strike.
Yes,
probably the biggest factor.
There was no promotion for the movie except for the director, and that's because she was the only one not on strike.
Oh, and then we don't have time to get into it, but then you saw that bullshit that they threw at her right around the time of the release, right? Like Variety.
They threw her under the bus.
Oh yeah, no, she got thrown. And honestly, I hate it for her, because she was a trooper through that whole thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like she caught a lot of negative flack, and I guess it's because they couldn't be mad at Brie Larson this time around. But you had a black woman directing a big budget movie, and the narrative is now going to be the movie didn't fail because of all the circumstances surrounding it, but because a black woman was in charge. That's why the movie failed.
And Bob Iger basically went out and said that himself. He implied that.
Yeah, he said as much.
Yeah, Pillar of Garbage did a great video. I don't know if you know Pillar of Garbage, man, but that dude makes good
videos. No, I'm not familiar. I'll have to look into this, because I like seeing stuff like this put out here. People actually going out here debunking the bullshit, same as y'all do. I like seeing that
he
there's
does it
more
better than we all do. I'll be honest, he does it way better than all of it. So
yeah, well,
no, he's really good.
And honestly, I'm glad, because that is a Herculean task, and I don't think a lot of people know or honor or respect that as much as it takes a lot of work to do this stuff, and you have to put yourself in a very, I would say, very dark place, because you're having to consume all this knowledge that just would probably break your brain about how fucked up the world really is.
Yeah, it can be, the thing that works for me personally is just like the messages and stuff that we get of people that like, saying how much it means to them that we're doing it. In fact, now that I remember, we got some fan art. Dude sent us a couple of pieces of fan art.
Oh shit!
And like, it's legit great. Let me see if I can find it.
Dude, hell yeah!
But like, this is kind of shit that gets me, motivates me, right? Is there's this one.
Oh man. Oh my god. You know what? This is awesome. I love this.
And then the one I really like is,
it encapsulates it so perfectly.
This one, this is the more recent one that I fucking love. This one, like, I think that's fucking actually fantastic.
Oh man.
So that's This is the
like
one that doesn't have the text. He sent me two, one with and without text, and then he's saying, must resist the anti-fans or something like that. But then, have you ever heard of this dude? We got this like probably almost a year ago, sent to us. Darren Ock.
Oh no, this is news to me.
He's written. I mean, you can find him on. He's worked for Marvel and DC before. But yeah, he sent us this, and I was like, holy shit.
Dude, this is awesome. Oh my god, dude, this is everything.
I don't know why everybody wants to send us their chud drawings, but I mean that's cool. I guess I get it.
I mean, dude, I like this. This is fantastic. Like
I don't think he's worked on a whole lot, but let me see what he's done. So he's American cartoonist, art director, and teacher at the Joe Kubert School of Art. Holy shit. I didn't know. Wow.
Nice. Damn. Okay. All right. Okay. Credentials, bona fides.
A little bit.
Okay. All right.
So he's worked on Weapon X. Let's see. Marvel Comics Presents Scarlet Witch. Okay. Some What If. He did, the What If issue with the Watcher doing the Marilyn Monroe thing? Where he's like pulling his shirt. I guess he worked on that one.
Yeah. What?
So, he's not the writer or the artist that's listed. So I'm guessing he was
maybe he's like cover artist or something, or
maybe.
Because that's a thing, dude.
Yeah, I'll have to look more into it. But man, we got this, and for some reason I realized that I never responded to this email, and I was like, I feel like an asshole. So Darren, if you're still watching and you're not like, resentful that I never responded, man, we really appreciated the art, and I'm an asshole for not reminding myself to reply.
Dude, I mean, that's awesome. I now want to know more. Like, I'm actually gonna look this guy up, see if I can hunt down some of this stuff, because this is awesome. Like, I love learning shit. I love learning things. So, and like I said, like I was saying, telling you, you never know who's watching.
The people, because I get it, because that was one of the reasons I started doing it. Is I get on YouTube and I'm looking for good content about this stuff that I love, and it was harder and harder to find it. And I'm just finding people that are saying things I know to be fucking false, and in a lot of cases using it for bigoted reasons, and it pissed me off. It motivated me. So I get the feeling of trying to find some content and just finding nothing but that shit, because it dominates the algorithm. And so once that appreciation from people now and again that we get, that's what motivates me and keeps me from thinking about the darker shit that can be pretty dark. But
well, I just want to say thank you for having me on,
dude. Anytime,
thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah, Dave. I appreciate it. I'd be happy to do it again.
Member, as far as I'm concerned, man. You're welcome to come back. We do believe in kind of networking as much as possible, build up kind of that shared algorithm, and try and take back some of this space that they fucking dominate. So let's do it again.
Let's do it. I'm kind of tired of the nerdrotics and the geeks and gamers and all the rippers and all of them.
Thanks, Motorola.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Subscribe to BLERD, subscribe to Organized Chaos, and I think we're gonna do something on the first for the Fapcast, I believe. But yeah, I'll let you know on the Twitters or BlueSkies or whatever. So follow me there. You can also follow me for free on Patreon, where you can catch up with some stuff that you might not see elsewhere. And as we leave here, I'm gonna show a bit of this rip-off verse video. With some puppets and shit. So yeah, y'all have a good one. Peace.
Retards, they'll fight you with low IQ. Retards, the retards, self-owning again and again.
can't be right. None of this makes sense. Wait a minute. So, we charge the customer how much? And then we give the charity how much? And after that, the profit we make is... Whoa! God. I fucking hate working here. I mean, who even buys this dog shit? Oh well. It's this, or sucking dicks in a motel, I guess. I need to get this figured out. Derek! Derek!
He's hiding in the storeroom.
Why is he in there, Alex?
There's a fat boy in the parking lot over there.
How many times? You think we ain't felt all the things? How many times? We say we oppose taxation. What about the roads? How many times? What about the